shouldn't be lumping me with them with that group. I'm sorry. I'm not going to allow.
I'm not going to let you, Jake, Eric Carl, and
Yeah,
John
yeah.
Klassen.
Eric Hall, Maurice Sendak, me.
Yeah.
Not fair.
It's time for Gavin Doodle.
Hello, hello, World Wide Web. Hello, those on Ask Jeeves and Webcrawler. Welcome to Gavin Doodle. Tonight we have on the lovely Julie Benbassat, whose newest book, Mungo on His Own, with Matthew Burgess. Just so you get a sense of what this looks like. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that little fox. Adorable little fox. Ooh, I don't want you to see all of it. I was told by my son I'm not allowed to show all of it, and that's true. Look at this. Look at how great that image is. Julie's going to be on with us. We also have the book From Far Away. Let's give a couple images from this. Look at this thing. Whack-a-doodle. We got craziness going on. And then there's that sun again. Again, beautiful watercolors and textures and pencil work throughout. I'm so excited to talk to Julie. We are connected through past history. I'll explain it a bit. But anyways, this is a sketch I'm going to do for the night. I want to do two friends racing around. So we got a turtle in a wheelchair and a little bird that's riding on the handlebars. And I'm going to do some flowers or something of the sort. I got some colors already pre-picked out. But let me switch my camera and I'll let in our special guest. Hi, everybody. How you doing? It's so nice to see you all. I can't really see you. I'm sorry. I can't see through the screen. Let me put ask us anything. That's how fast I was typing. Into the comments here, and I'm going to pin that once it goes up. Pin it, and make sure my feed is live, and then I'm going to let our special guest in. Boop. There we go. Feed is live. Here we go. Special guest coming in 3, 2. It's not accurate. 1. I'm trying. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Hello.
Hello. Let me turn up my volume here. I don't know why my volume dropped. Hello, how are you?
I'm well. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay,
I
good.
can hear you well. Where are you coming in from? Remind me, are you in Philly?
Yes. Well, technically King of Prussia, but it's a suburb of Philly, you know?
There's a suburb of Philly called King of Prussia?
Yes.
Who named that? Well, probably the King of Prussia. But
So interestingly enough, it was actually named after a bar in the colonial era. So,
oh, really? Okay.
yeah.
Interesting.
So it's also
Is it,
famous for its very big mall.
are you north, south, east, west of Philly proper?
Northwest slightly, but again, like we're still pretty much like outside of Philly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I don't know if I've been on the eastern side of it more than I have the western side, so I don't think I've been to King of Prussia. It sounds well, we have Manchester by the Sea, by us, which is a whole nother naming challenge. Anyways, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you on, especially I've been following with Mungo on his own. That's how you say it, right? It's not like I'm mispronouncing it.
No, it's Mungo. Unless like Matthew's gonna tell me otherwise. I think it's just Mungo.
I didn't know if it was gonna be like some fancy like Monjo or something like that. It's like
No.
mispronouncing. But I've been following that since I saw the cover reveal early on and whatnot, and now it's officially out there, and very excited to have it in house and read it. But before we go too far, who are you and what do you do?
Thank you. My name is Julie Benbassat, and I am a freelance illustrator, mainly focusing on picture books. But I also do editorial work as well.
Okay. I know that you have history with Society of Illustrators. Like did you get a medal for one of the editorial pieces?
I did. I got a gold medal, which is,
Ooh.
I still can't believe it.
Do you have it there? You
Oh
have
my
it,
no.
like,
It's in the studio, but the studio is a mess right now. So like I'm
okay.
kind of actually in our like living room of sorts. So
It's a
um,
bison or a buffalo that's on it? What is it?
I
Is it
think it's a buffalo.
is it? Okay. Which I don't understand. There's got to be some reason why it's a buffalo or a bison or whatever it is. But
Mhm.
I just know that that's what's on it. And then you also went to RISD, right?
I did. Yes.
Were you illustration?
Yes. I knew from the get-go that I wanted to be an illustrator.
Okay. Okay, me
Yeah.
too. I just it's the folks that you probably have learned from are folks of my history as well. Some of them are probably no longer there. Some of my I was there in 96 or 2000. So, but
We have some professors are almost 90. So not 90, 80, still
Mhm.
very old. But
Yeah,
like
like Kelly Murphy was a peer of mine when I was going through school.
Mhm.
Is Judy Sue still there?
Yes. Sorry, not against Judy Sue, but it's just, she's been having so many health issues from what I've heard. It's just like, lady, you got to retire. But
Okay.
she was nice.
I don't know. I don't even know how old she was when I was there, but everybody was older to me when I was there, so I don't know what that means. But like Trent Burles, or not Trent Burles, Robert Brinkerhoff was I
Still
was a
there.
big fan of Robert. I worked with Fred actually. I didn't have him when I was in school, Fred Lynch, but I taught with him
Mhm.
at school. And there's just like a
Mhm.
cohort of people that are all connected. So we'll have to. You've been there more recently, so I'll have to ask you some questions. I haven't been
I'm.
since 2004. I haven't been down there. And so
Mm.
I didn't see the cool library. I just,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
it's
exactly.
changed a lot.
Yeah, so we'll talk about stuff. But tonight
Mhm.
we're gonna doodle, draw, make
Mhm.
whatever it may be, and
Mhm.
we are going to chat. The rule of thumb for chatting is we can go anywhere. There is no rule of thumb. We can go anywhere, whatever conversation you want to talk about, whatever conversation I want to talk about. If there's anything I go that's uh, too challenging, because sometimes I ask these like deep, like heartfelt, how do you feel about yourself as an artist questions. And so
Mhm.
if that's too much, you just let me know. I
Mhm.
want to be respectful of your time.
Thank
So if at
you.
any point you go, I need to go to bed or anything of the sort, or I don't want to listen to you, Mark, that's totally fine. Let me know. But I have
Mhm.
two pieces of information right off the top.
Mhm.
What are you going to make, or what are you going to work on? And then what materials are you using tonight? And if you can
Ooh.
name brands, that's helpful.
Oh, sponsorship, please. No,
Yeah.
I'll probably be doing an assortment of doodles, but mainly I wanted to do some cute animals and outfits. But since we're drawing for so long and I kind of work fast, I think it might evolve into other things too.
Okay.
And it's gonna be a mix of things, but mostly watercolor. I'm using some Kuretake, some Winsor and Newton. Um, and probably some ballpoint pens.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
But the watercolors, are you just making like, is it a mixture like two different palettes that you work with, or are you mixing your own palette of like taking tubes and what does it look like? Do I want to know?
I just do
Okay.
that. It comes in
Okay.
the box. I trust the box.
But what about when you use the Winsor Newton? Are you adding to that box then,
Oh yeah,
or are
it's
you?
just it's a mini
Oh,
box.
okay. Ooh, I
Yeah.
have that. I have that same, the perfect little. The only thing that watercolor kit that annoys me for, like, I've had that kit for so long, is
Yeah.
the water tray they give you in it. It's like a tablespoon of water for a watercolor person. It doesn't make any sense. And if you balance it, it like, I never use it for the water anyways, but that little
Yeah.
thing that's the size of your thumb that hangs off the side is so silly. Anyways,
Hmm.
what do you use for a surface? What are we watercolor paper? Is it something
Well,
else?
I'm actually trying to finish a sketchbook right now. So
Oh,
hopefully it will be this handmade sketchbook my student from Holland's made me.
mm, fancy. Is it watercolor paper or is it just some sort of art paper that's in there?
I think it's an art paper, but it's not at least like copy paper.
Yeah.
It can hold something, but I've noticed that it cannot hold more than like 2 or 3 layers of watercolor. So we'll be
Interesting.
tenfold.
Yeah, it's like printmaking paper or something that's like not designed to take that much that excessive water
Mhm.
amount or liquid. So tonight we're gonna jump in. We can start talking. I have questions for you. I have lots of
Right.
questions about making, material, color palette,
Yeah.
all sorts of things that are probably pretty standard. But again,
Mhm.
if you want to talk about nonsense for the night, I am game. I can talk about anything and everything. So you
Mhm.
holler. Do you have
Right.
a setup to quickly switch down to your, or not? I shouldn't say quickly, but to switch to your downshoot of whatever it may be. Okay,
Mhm.
let's shift. I'm gonna do the same. And um, and I will keep track. I have a feed up so I can sort of see what's being presented, but it's got like a 15 second delay, just to warn you.
Got it.
Whoa, what just happened? What
Oh,
just happened to mine? Let me try that again.
oh, your wall.
What? It's like zoomed in.
Whoa.
Whoa. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this. Okay, how do I get out of?
Whoa.
And now it's zoomed in on that.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Tech is not our friend. It's
Yeah,
never my
what?
friend.
Okay. What do I do with this? If I switch it, is it like my face? There is something going on with this. Okay, how can I stop? I'm gonna try to knock out my camera for a second and give it. I've never had this happen where it zoomed into a ridiculous amount.
I'm
Way to
so
get.
sorry if I've cursed you.
No, I think I like just touched something wrong and it zoomed in to a ridiculous amount here. Let me see if I can other ways to address that. Because it's on both cameras. Oh no. Okay. Let me check with my producer upstairs. Hold on, that's my wife.
Got
Hey
it.
Lauren,
Hi.
do you see my feed?
Whoa.
She's trying to track it here in the background because I might have to actually start this whole thing over.
Oh
Which
my.
yeah, it's zoomed in and I can't figure out how to get out of it. No, nothing I'm doing is changing it. So everybody who's watching gets to see this like hyper. There's my hand. You can check the pores on my hand at this point.
Mm.
That's not what we need for the night. What was that, Lauren? Yes, correct. Yeah, I think we have. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to consider this the beginning of it all, and I will edit this together so we don't even have to restart. What I'm going to do
Okay.
is I'm going to close out, and I will let you back in, and
Okay.
that
Got
should
it.
correct it. I have no idea what I did, how I
Oh
could
my
have done it,
God.
but so get ready. I'm going to close out. I will save it real quick, and then
Okay.
I'll hop back on and have you invite you back in. So give me
Okay.
one
Cool.
second.
Yep.
Hey everybody, look at these books. They're zipping by. You don't even know what's happening. Tonight we have on Julie Benbassat. It's right there with the book From Far Away with Mungo on his own. And there's that sun again. Julie is waiting. We had a little technical problem. We're going to get this going. And I'm going to let them in. Let me just see if I can try this without issue this time. I'm going to try from this here and see if it works. And I'm not touching my phone at all after this, assuming this works. Okay, we are
Okay.
back.
Woohoo.
I'm going to not touch my phone. I'm just going to angle so people can see, and then we'll leave it at that. Let's see, is that close enough? All right, if it gets too tight, we'll figure it out. Okay, so Julie, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the show the third time.
Yay.
I've had technical problems throughout this show, throughout the years. I have never had that as a problem for whatever reason.
Mhm.
So let me see if I got my feed. If it looks clear, it looks clear. Okay, great. I think we are good to go. So I need to
Mm-hmm.
start with the basic information. And what I mean by that is that it's probably the information you've answered for kids or for, artist talks and things of the sort. But I need you to tell me a little bit about sort of your history. Potentially because we're in Kidlit, go way back.
Yeah.
I mean, not way back. You're very young, so not that far back. But
Mm-hmm.
go back to the era in which, you were reading kids' books, etc. And let's start there. Give me a little rundown of sort of where you come from in mental space. Were you a kidlit kid? Were you a how's that all play out?
Mm-hmm. So I feel like I love children's books. I think I have like very firm memories of like owl babies.
Oh
Uh,
yes, okay.
yeah, owl babies. Bringing it back to oh my God, not Paddington. There was like a little like dog, not corduroy. That's another bear. But there
Okay.
was a really cute dog that was a baker that I used to love that book so much. Oh, Pantaloon. That's what his name
Oh
is.
yes, yes, okay.
Yeah. So, my parents were a little bit older, so I think they gave me a lot of like older children's books. Like I remember like going through not just um like modern, I guess, children's books here and there, like Sagwa. Like we had the original illustrated book when that show came out. Um and oh my God, it was like a dog who investigates. I love dogs. I'm realizing it, even though I like cats more, which is funny. But we
What
also had things like the. Oh, sorry. Hmm.
I was gonna say, were the books when you say they're old, was it like older than you were like I guess how do I put this? Were they generations before you or were they just like written before you were born? If that makes any sense.
Probably written before I was born. Some of them, like we had some really old, like Treasure Island. There was one, like an illustrated version that I think was probably like NC Wyatt.
Oh, okay.
Illustrate, like we had
Yeah.
things like that. My dad would sometimes just like bring out the Audubon book, and I was like, "Oh yeah, birds, we're doing it." Yeah.
Wait, was this okay, so here's a dumb question. Was this because they didn't want to buy kids books and they're just like, "Hey, let's just grab ours from when we were young." Or was this what I mean? Was this like a cheap parent thing where they're like, "We don't buy kids books, we just give the books that we're reading to our kids."
I think it was honestly not even about being cheap. I think it was just like, hey, these are some good stuff
Okay.
besides all this other stuff you're consuming. They also got a lot of those like um artist autobiography books for kids. Like I remember reading a lot about the Impressionists.
Hmm.
Um, so
You were reading highbrow stuff when I was reading like very, very lowbrow
no.
as a kid. Um, was were they big on the arts, or was I mean
Yeah.
having a Wyeth book or having a those kinds of books around? That's not everyday cup of tea.
Mm-mm. No, I look back on them now because my parents would have always said like they're not artists, but I think like they were connoisseurs of art for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
And for I still was reading like Olivia, um, the really cute. Oh my God, I'm like forgetting everything I've ever experienced. Like the name, it's horrible. It's like I'm on Jeopardy or something, but I'm just answering your question.
It's okay.
Um,
This is new for a lot of people to talk and work at the same time, so you're allowed.
mhm.
I'm not going
Thank
to
you.
judge. There's no grade attached to this of any sort. Um,
Oh my God.
I mean, I could grade people for you that have been on before if you
Oh my
want.
God,
Want to
no,
hear
no,
who
please.
the worst was? I can.
That that's RISD, very RISD coded.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Owl Babies is like the biggest one that stands out. Though I remember really liking Chris Van Allsburg's work, and I think that's still kind of contemporary to an
Yeah.
extent. So
I mean, I would put him in a sort of timeless ballpark, if that makes any sense. Partially because of like his aesthetic. It's an
yeah.
aesthetic that goes throughout the years. It's not like super like a Cal art style or anything of the sort. It sort of crosses a lot of those boundaries. Did you ever meet him? Because he used to teach down at RISD back in the day.
I think he was gone by the time I got there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
I don't even know if he was teaching when I was there. He might have been, but not in the illustration program, at least. Um,
Yeah.
so it's a matter of like, there's these, these heroes or classics that have walked through those halls at some point. But um, did you know early on that kids' books was? I mean, you said illustration was the known thing, but did you know
Hmm.
Kidlit was your cup of tea?
So, ironically, even though I had some pretty nice children's books, I was also really drawn to cartoons. So,
Yeah.
I was like really big into anime. Like some of my first like drawings as a kid were of like really scary versions of Pikachu, um,
was
Pokemon.
was
Hmm.
were you a Sailor Moon era too? Did you go through that?
Of course, that was me.
It's the there's like the back. I don't know if they still have this term around, but there's like the horse girl term of
Oh,
like the girl that really loves horses. But I feel like there was a Sailor Moon girl phase for a lot of girls growing up back in the day.
hmm.
That was their sort of like of the students that I have now. They kind of have these eras, and that I feel like that was one of them of some.
Hmm.
Um, so you wanted to do cartooning or you know anime or whatever it may be, but when did
Hmm.
it become sort of the or I don't want to say take the reins and sort of steer you in that direction, but uh,
Hmm.
when did Kidlit come into the picture? Was that when you were in school, or was that something post school? Was that something you know what era?
They were hints of it. I came to RISD because, and this is such a bad reason, I'm looking back on it, but the guys who made Avatar: The Last Airbender, one of them went there.
Brian
Um,
Konietzko, yes,
yeah.
yep.
So I was like, oh, if you could make Avatar, I should go to this school so I can do something similar. So I actually went in thinking I'm just gonna do concept art and visual development. Like I was like, I want to make my own show. Um, I was really into like schoolism with like Bobby Chiu and stuff. Like I was working for that, or at least trying. And then I went into the illustration program and I realized that I actually really liked, I guess, like the conceptual rigor of editorial work. So I took some classes with Chris Buzelli, and I think that kind of like solidified like, oh, I can do this. Like
Yeah,
this is I can still like kind of make my own worlds and make characters, but I don't have to be beholden to a studio.
yeah, you can
Um
be a little bit even like a little bit more avant-garde or like conceptual or uh, allegorical with
mhm.
work in something like that. Was
Yeah.
was when you were there with Chris was I think he was post me, but I know of him obviously like he's a big name, and then his wife
Mhm.
obviously is this superstar within the editorial art directing world. Um,
Mhm.
did did that having class with him on that kind of thing, was it, this is going to sound weird, was it him and the class, or was it you that linked up in the sense like sometimes you have a class
Mhm.
with a teacher and you're like the class was fun because of the teacher and how they
Mm.
got the information, and he's someone that has this rich history with editorial work and connections and whatnot, and so obviously he's not coming in going, I think I know how editorial works. um, I've heard about it. What's it like? Well, we're gonna see today. So was there some like inkling that came from him, or was it something that you said, like it would be independent of that class experience that you think you would just latch onto it?
That's a really good question, and I think that well, I was drawn to the fact that his class was one of the few classes where he actually talked about the industry, like how it actually was. Like he was talking to us about payment, like
Yeah.
how to
Okay.
negotiate a contract. And I think that already like really stood out to me as someone because like as I mentioned, there are teachers in the illustration department who are literally like 80 years old. Like it is they're very sweet and it's endearing in a way, but it's not very
Yeah.
helpful because the world they know in illustration is literally like 40 years gone.
Yeah.
Like it's
You got to get out your ruby lith, and you got to you know I tell students, I explain the history of things, but like the idea of
Hmm.
why illustration board is a thing,
Yeah.
and what is it? Tell me. I'm the teacher. I'm asking. What? Why is illustration board the way it is?
Hmm.
Oh, you're not
No.
answering. You don't want to answer.
No. Oh, sorry. Oh, I mean, no.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, no. I mean, God. Like the mood board, you mean, or?
No, like illustrate. Like I'm working on illustration board tonight, and students
Hmm.
ask me like, "What is it?" And one of the
Hmm.
things I explain to them, and maybe this is history for those that are out there watching, but
Yeah.
it's only the surface is important on illustration board. The rest of it is like filler.
Yeah.
And it's the reason why is back in the day they only had drum scanners, i.e., a big cylindrical scanner for artwork, and you would
Whoa.
send it in, and there would be a specialist who would scan it. And what they would do is take a razor blade to the edge. In fact, I'm gonna see if I can do it with a scrap here. Let's see if I can do this.
Hmm.
It's been a long time, but
Whoa.
take a blade to it. I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get the good edge here to work with. You should be able to peel up the surface and leave the backer board.
Oh.
And the idea is that that person would peel the surface. Let's see if I can do this. It's a question of did I get enough? Here we go. It's going.
Hmm.
And you can peel the surface off. That can be thrown in the drum scanner because now it can curl. And so you can get your
Whoa.
illustration board back with the backer missing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's like weird history like that I share with students. I didn't go through it myself.
Yeah.
But that's the like history that you're talking about. Like people who were like, oh yes, I remember sending in my originals. The history that's there. Did even though they were ancient and decrepit and they were mummies that you were learning from, were they? Did you still get a lot of like uh, content and information that you use to this day?
Oh, yeah. Like I really there was an older professor there named Nicholas Palermo,
Oh,
and
Nick
he
Palermo.
was, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. He was so kind, I think, in a way that a lot of the students need, um, while not being too saccharine, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was.
Like he's the kind of, oh, sorry.
Oh
Mhm.
no, go ahead. Go ahead, please. Please.
No, he's the kind of guy who will, like, I think, encourage you to go for a vision that you don't even see for yourself yet. You know?
Yeah. He was. I think he was probably the same when I was there. And so like I never had him as a teacher, but I went into his class. I saw him work on some like workshop days and things of the sort, and he was amazing. And his I still reference him to this day the way he can draw a line to my students.
Oh, yeah.
He could just do a figure drawing, and it would just be the most beautiful contour line. And I
Hmm.
was mesmerized how he could do that, and that's a skill that transfers outside of that. So when you were in school, was it RISD that brought about Kidlit, or was that after you got out of school that you jumped into the Kidlit range?
So I took a class with both Kelly Murphy, actually.
Okay.
Shout out to Kelly if you're there. And MJ Began.
Yes,
Uh,
Jane. Okay. Yep.
yeah, and both of them were like, Julie, like, why are you an editorial? And now I look at my work now, like from when I was in college, and I'm like, yeah, why was I an editorial? Like, it makes sense, but I guess, like, I look back at my work and I think instinctively it was already kidlit. I just didn't know it yet,
Yeah.
but I feel like I was kind of making it become editorial because that's what I was kind of like training to be. Um, I will
Now
also prep. Oh, mhm.
you did get a gold medal
Yeah,
on the side of illustration. It's not like it was like this. Like, why are you in this thing? It doesn't look like that of any sort. It doesn't fit that market. You have,
yeah.
you have some
No,
skill.
thank you.
Yeah. um,
Um,
Go ahead. Go ahead. You were going. I interrupted. Sorry.
no, no. I also love yapping, so it's always like
Okay.
ooh, when does the yap stop? But yeah, I think looking back on the past too, like I went, you know how in college people ask you to do things for them, like family friends.
Yes. Yep.
So if you go onto like my Goodreads, one of the books I worked on is called You Be You. And it's a very important book. It's about explaining gender identity and sexuality to kids in a very like kind of like off, like very kind of like almost like a handbook way, just like, hey, like
Okay.
these are just some things to learn about. And it was with my mom's friend's son. And I'm happy with the experience in a lot of ways, but one thing that I think that working on that project did is it really made me actually not like Kidlit because he paid me like $500 for 72 illustrations.
Oh,
It was it
oh,
was horrible, and he was a grad student, so I get it. Like you know, he's not making money,
yeah,
but I
yeah,
was just like, this wasn't worth it. Like it wasn't worth the work. I'd rather just go to editorial.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the,
Yeah,
I mean, that's the sad part of this whole thing. And I think even, after being in the industry for a while, um, sometimes if it's an hourly rate, if you're going purely on hourly rate, you can make a lot more money elsewhere than Kidlit,
yeah.
because it's just a long form project. But
Mhm.
if you love it, and you love the environment, you love the kids, and you love the working in a narrative field, etc. Sometimes it's worth taking that sort of uh, lesser pay to do what you love. Um,
Yeah.
and so with doing that work for that person, um, obviously you got paid very little, and or not
Mhm.
appropriately. I'll put it that way, even.
Yeah.
But did you like? Even if it was a struggle or you feel like, oh, this was not necessarily the thing that you wanted it to be, was there,
Mhm.
was there enough in that though that you go, but I see the potential for the future? Or like what, how did you, like, after looking back and reflecting on it, what,
Mhm.
what was your take?
So it's funny. So it wasn't that project that made me like Kidlit. It was essentially coming out of college. I graduated in 2019, so it's such a weird year because
Yep.
everything felt like it was gonna be awesome. Everyone was super pumped. It's like we're graduated, the world's our oyster.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic happened.
Wait,
Um,
but you graduated after the start of the pandemic though, right? Like people were wearing masks and shutting down at that point when you graduated, or no?
no, it was right before. Like we didn't know the pandemic was gonna happen yet.
Oh, okay.
Like
I
it
was
was,
thinking,
yeah.
what was the graduation date? That's my like
Uh,
the you don't have to tell me. I'm asking facetiously there, but just that
oh
idea of
no, no.
when did
Hmm.
you walk out, and when did that wall of you know panic set in? Yeah,
Hmm.
that is a tough era to walk out into the world. But look at you
Hmm.
now. Look at you now. You got
Yay.
you got multiple books. Like
Hmm.
it didn't slow you down dramatically, did it?
No, again, I graduated the summer of 2019, so again, we didn't know what COVID was yet.
Oh wait,
So,
oh that's right. I'm thinking you're right. 2019, not 2020.
yeah.
Aha, I'm getting
Hmm.
up. That's why I'm asking about masks and like when did you
Yeah.
graduate? Okay, yeah. So you were
Yeah.
out for a bit, and then it
Hmm.
dawned on everybody at that point. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Um,
So, hmm. Hmm.
with with obviously that impact of that, was there a slowdown for you, or did it sort of stay steady stream throughout because you were getting work?
There was a pause because again, I was focusing more on editorial, and once the pandemic hit, like you've seen my work, it doesn't really scream like, oh, you look like you can draw like someone dying in the hospital, which was
Yeah,
unfortunately the majority
yeah.
of the articles.
That's
But
similar to me. I don't do, like, when I do editorial work, it is not uh it's not Newsweek, it's not the New York Times, it is parenting magazine, and
yeah.
it's not the hardest hitting work in the world. So I get that idea of, yeah, you're not, no one's coming to you going like, we need you to illustrate the war happening in wherever it may be. um
Yeah. Hmm.
with all of that though, like, did you have a sunny disposition going through that? Like, did you see the light at the end of the tunnel before it was actually lit, or was that a, like, were you sitting there moping around at night going like, this is never going to end? How How do I survive?
Mhm. It was definitely a reckoning because you were complaining about kidlit, and the cost, but I'm going to tell you right now, the worst paying jobs are in editorial.
Oh, okay. So
Shout out to the editorial people if you're listening.
shout out saying pay more, pay more. Um, well, I guess I'd have to think back. Editorial, yeah, did not pay great book covers. I got more like per hour for book covers at least.
Yeah.
And that was a flat fee essentially.
Hmm.
But still, that idea of like that kidlit is not always the big payday everybody thinks it is.
Hmm.
We're not
Well,
famous overnight.
it, one way to look at it is like kidlit, again, like you need to build up to the advances. There's a lot of issues here and there, but editorial, it's like you'll get one thing from the New York Times. It's like $500. That might be all you're getting that month.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah.
that is the kind of thing I was like realizing, and I had actually gotten lucky. I had done this like little like fun zine on for myself. It was like a zine of reverse mermaids, and it had gotten the attention of an art director at Workman. So they were like, "Hey, you can draw these really fun, wacky, fantastical creatures. I bet you could draw real creatures that aren't as fantastical for this book we're releasing about animals with really wacky names." So
Yeah.
that was, I think, my first official like actual spot into Kidlit, working with Workman, because the looking back, I guess the advance wasn't big like nowadays, but like for me, back then, where I was getting paid like basically pennies for putting my all into one editorial illustration, I was getting like the advance I think was 20K. And it just like opened my eyes to maybe I should do this
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
instead.
yeah. The spark of, oh man, I'm making more than I imagined could happen. I know that there was a moment in my career where
Mhm.
doing an advertising gig where I did not know
Mm.
advertising paid and really undersold myself to my agent at the time when he said like how much
Mm.
charge for this, how much would you charge, etc. And I really came in with a low ball number apparently, and he corrected.
No.
I was like, oh wow, I didn't even know that was feasible. Um,
Hmm.
you know, it was a tough challenge. I don't know how much you know about editorial, but man, or not. I'm sorry, advertising. But the expectation is high. Let's put it that way.
Oh
um,
yeah.
so, uh, with with the kidlit side of things, though,
Hmm.
you have found your love, your baby, or whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
How? What is it that sparks the joy in that at this point? Like what
Ooh.
makes you say Kidlit is the thing for you that potentially is different than all the other things beyond money, beyond the
Hmm.
financial side? Um,
Uh,
strikes.
mhm. I think Kidlit is just so much more open to concepts, right? Um, I like the freedom it gives me. The deadlines I know I have heard from people have been getting worse, in terms of getting faster. So,
Mhm.
um, I understand that, but from an editorial perspective, the deadlines are really long, like in a
Yes.
good way.
Well, how long does it take you to finish a book roughly? Like,
uh, if you really want to concentrate, I could do it in 3 months. I could do it even in 2 months if I really concentrated,
okay.
if I didn't sleep.
Yeah, because I mean, your aesthetic is a much richer, more like time-consuming aesthetic than mine. And people have asked,
Hmm.
how long do you take? And it's like 3 months is standard for me. But I'm also
Hmm.
not painting to the level of what you're painting as far as like managing light and things of the sort. Mine's sort of, you know, a lowbrow graphic version of things.
Hmm.
So I can imagine it would take you longer. Um,
Hmm.
but outside of that, is there things that like like is it the storytelling? Um, is it the relationship with obviously editorial has a very different sort of relation
Hmm.
to art directors and whatnot. Were there other things that sort of sparked your hey, this is for me?
I think when I say freedom, it's not just the deadlines. I think it's almost like the freedom of you can kind of do anything. Like I love the fact that you can kind of the story, if you're working on your own manuscript or someone else's, like you can kind of give it your all
Yeah.
in a beautiful kind of way that I don't think I was like. I think when I was working in the editorial sphere, it was almost like, you're working in like a feast or famine mentality. Like I have to do this. I have to give it all into one thing, but I have to do that multiple times. And I'm getting, really burnt out by how fast it has to go. Like, you do it and then it's gone, but you just spend so much time trying to really make it work and solve the problem. But in Kidlit, you can like experiment, I think, in ways that you kind of can't afford to do in the editorial sphere. Like, you kind of get into this style and you have to stay in it in editorial. But I feel like in Kidlit, you can kind of expand to so many different versions of yourself and versions that the story allows,
Yeah, each
you
book
know?
its own thing essentially and have its own voice over time.
Mm-hmm.
Is there, thinking back to the start of the career in Kidlit or the start of career in editorial, etc., what kind of, I mean, obviously style has some element of play in your work. Everybody's going to have something that they rely on, but
Mm-hmm.
how much have you changed? Like, I don't know the history of every piece you've done, and so I know sort of what's current or what's been in my purview. But did the stuff when you were walking out of school and the stuff that you're doing now look wildly different?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If anything, I think I'm returning to what I did in school more actually than what, like, I'm actually maybe not evolving is the right word. I think it's more like I'm going a direction that I think I really wanted to keep going in editorial, but I actually just couldn't like maintain that because of how grueling it was.
Okay.
But I feel like Kidlet is like letting me go back to my fantastical side a lot more.
Well, yeah,
Um,
the
mhm,
fantastic side, you've done stuff for Magic the Gathering too, which is
mhm,
always fascinating to me because when I think of like Kidlit, the first thing I think of is not just like, oh, you worked on Magic the Gathering, and there's a few people that have like Adam Rex has. I'm trying to think.
mhm.
There are a couple people I've had on that have had some play in that realm at some point. Um,
Yeah.
and so is that Magic the Gathering? I don't know why I'm adding air quotes, but the Magic the Gathering, is that something that uh, is more akin to what you're talking about, or is that like super high fantasy compared to what you were doing previously?
I think it's more like it supplements what I really want to keep doing, um, rather than like encapsulates everything, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yes, yeah, that does.
Yeah. Like I love making these fantastical worlds and these. I have a knack. I think I can say this because people have told me I have a knack for making little, like cute little guys.
Okay, with
And
oh,
mhm.
go ahead.
Yeah, so like the cute little guy aesthetic can go anywhere. If I'm making reverse mermaids, or if they need a fantastical creature illustrated for Magic the Gathering, or if I'm writing a children's book and there's a little guy in there. I don't know. It's just another road I think to take, and I just love that I can kind of just do my own thing and not have to worry about like, oh, um, am I going to make this deadline? It's more about, oh, how can I express this idea differently? Or how can this character come to life?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
so admittedly, like I'm not a Magic the Gathering person. I've never played. I understand the basic concept.
Hmm.
I did not know that there were like cute things in there. Am I wrong? Like I always assumed it was like people that are eating skulls and like something that's hardcore fantasy whatnot, but not necessarily like, oh, look at that cute little squirrel.
Yeah.
Am I like, am I way off in that, or is that like, first of all, do you play Magic the Gathering?
My girlfriend does, and she's been getting me to learn. So
Okay. And are there cutesy? I mean, obviously, your stuff is going to have some sort of cute bend to it, but are there other people doing ridiculously cute things in the mix?
yeah. It really depends on like I guess the quote unquote set that comes out. Like each season, there's like a different plane, and there are some, of course, where it's like, "Yep, we're eating skulls," like just as you
Okay.
said. You
Okay. So
know,
not that far.
yeah. But I was brought on for a series set called Lorwyn, and that's kind of like traditional fantasy. But they really wanted a children's book aesthetic, so they actually hired not just me, but a bunch of other children's book illustrators for it.
Okay.
Um,
That,
so
I've
that's
seen
yeah.
I've seen those in the store, and I
Mhm.
assumed that it was all kind of the same stuff because I'm not buying it. I didn't crack it open to see what was on the inside, but that makes sense now. I got you.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, with working on those, do you think that any of that has parlayed into
Hmm.
your um, your kidlit aesthetic? Like, has it influenced your kidlit stuff in a way wherein your kidlit has become um,
Oh my God.
more uh, fantasy, or like has that sort of maturity of some of that realm and the gaming stuff showed up in your work now after the fact?
Hmm. Uh, that's a really interesting question. I think that I like to keep them separate to an extent, but I think what I'm learning from it, I'm actually working on my own artist, um, author illustrator book right now.
Oh,
Um,
okay. I have some questions there too. You don't
Great,
you can't go too far with that information. Expect me not to ask a question.
of course. But I think I'm just realizing my work is probably better for older kids. And I think the Magic the Gathering stuff really indicated that for me.
When you say older kids, what do you mean? Like, what age range are we talking?
Not board books.
Okay,
Um,
but not
I
necessarily like young adult.
No, I could see a young adult though working too, but I think my best cases when I've done readings for kids with all of my books really has been like second grade and up.
Okay.
And I think that the Magic the Gathering just kind of emphasized like I really like making things where you have to kind of look at them a little bit more. Like complex things, I think.
Yeah.
And if anything, and Kid Lit also has made me really respect people who can like make things just so graphically clear. I really respect people like honestly, like, my God, Eric Carl, John Klassen, you, like the three, the three guys, of Kidlit, where you guys can like work with shapes in such an effective way. Oh, Jacob Sova also, if he's in the chat,
Yeah.
I think he's a really good example of this too.
Yeah.
Like,
You shouldn't be lumping me with them with that group. I'm sorry. I'm not going to allow.
I'm not gonna let you, Jake, Eric Carl, and
Yeah,
John
yeah.
Klassen.
Eric Hall, Maurice Sendak, me.
Yeah.
Uh, not fair. But I get the gist of like there's people who are very shape oriented,
Yeah.
and that sort of inkling towards uh, like shape language over lighting or things like John Claude
Hmm.
is not a lighting expert, nor do
Hmm.
him to be a lighting expert of any sort. Um,
Yeah.
what when speaking of that, like one of the things that I have people do on here that
Hmm.
sometimes is very hard for folks, but I'm wondering. This question is going to be probably go against a little bit of the upbringing that you had. Like for me, it does at RISD too. But um,
Yeah.
what are you really good at? Like brag for a minute. What's your what is the thing that you're like, man, I do that better than a lot of people.
Oh, I mentioned the little guys. I think I'm good at making little creatures. I think line work is my strong point, definitely. Like line and shadow.
And are there people that you sort of link up with that you go like, oh, these are the people your, contemporaries, or the people that I use in my class. I actually say the people that you battle with for like, who are the people that you think are fighting for that same job that you want?
Oh,
That realm. Or like, yeah, essentially, who are your heroes? Who are the people that are doing the thing that you strive to do?
mhm. Really good question. I really like Charles Santoso. I think is really
Oh
good.
yeah, okay.
He does it digitally too, which I'm just like, how? Like the way his pencil lines work, it just doesn't make any sense. Like I'm like,
Oh,
how are you doing this?
he came on, and I did not realize he came on the show at one point, and I did not realize how small he works.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those people where it's like this, at the end of the day, it's this microscopic little drawing, and I do not have that skill whatsoever to shrink down or have the minutia of detail that he has in those works. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he's an amazing one that I think deserves a lot more credit, probably, or to be seen a lot more than what he is even already. Um,
Mm-hmm.
how do you find these folks? Like, is it
Uh,
Instagram for the most part? Is it?
mm-hmm. Instagram, I think also just researching, like when you go to the bookstore, like, oh, I really like this artist. Um, really beautiful stuff. Like I really like we're kind of like in the same groove. We both started with editorial and now we're kind of transitioned to kids book. She won the Ezra Jack Keats Award, Sarah Gonzales.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah. Like I think the way that she renders in color is kind of like how I render in shadow. And I respect her so much because I think color is a weakness for me, to be quite honest. And she just does it so effortlessly.
Ask you about color because I don't see color as a weakness for you. I think that you play in. I think I even one of the things I think I said in the ad, if I remember correctly, it's been
Hmm.
like 5 days, and I don't remember exactly, or no, 4 days, and I don't remember what I said. But I remember speaking about it feeling like home a little
Hmm.
in it, and what I meant by that was not that like that it felt safe, but it felt like the color palette you use is a very welcoming palette, and it's
Yeah.
not to like hurt the eyes in any way. Like there's some books that I have in my studio here, like on the shelves, where they use like a 5-color process with this hot pink or some neon color that really is jarring in some.
Yeah.
Your work has this like lovely tone to it that feels like uh, the best way I can say it is like it feels very um, like it feels like home, like it feels like a nice warm fireplace to me. If
Oh,
that
thank you.
that makes any sense, which like it's welcoming of sorts. And I don't know
Hmm.
if that's like, yeah, it might be a good thing, it might be a bad thing depending on how one hears it, but to me it's a good thing in the sense that
Hmm.
I look at that work, all your work, and I go like, oh, I would like to live in that world. I don't want to go live in a I don't want to live in my worlds, actually, to be honest. Like
Why? It's so
they're
colorful.
it's colorful, but it also feels like I don't know if I'd be able to turn it off.
Mm.
Sense. Like there's going to be a day where you have a headache, and you go, you know
Hmm.
what? This is not the space I want to be in. And so,
Hmm.
to me, I look at your work and I'm like, oh, this is like a warm, cozy blanket and whatnot throughout. And so, like, I don't know. That's my interpretation. I could be off, and you might go, ooh, I don't like that terminology. I don't like being seen as a warm, cozy blanket. Um, but at least the stuff that I've seen, and Mungo is like a brighter version of that from what
Hmm.
I've seen. But I still like, I don't know. This sounds weird. Now I feel like I'm like, okay, did I say something wrong?
No, it's actually very sweet. I'm like really honored that you see it as like a warm thing. I'm kind of just like, oh, I like yellow. I like the color yellow.
Well, it's yeah, it's there's a earthy tone to everything. Is that
Hmm.
and I don't use a lot of brown in my work, and that probably is why it looks sort of like too much like it's a headache waiting to happen. Is how did you come about? I mean, obviously, like you said, that color you feel like is your your weakness, or not necessarily a weakness, but a thing that doesn't take the stage, the
Mm-hmm.
stage every single time. How did you come to, though, your color palette? Like, obviously you have a kit of colors there that you're playing,
Mm-hmm.
right? The Kiritaki watercolors. Um,
Mm-hmm.
is your palette defined by that, or are there colors in that palette that never get touched?
um, I think again, like I wish I was, someone who's like, oh, I use the Zorn palette or something like that. I
Yeah.
wish I was more profound. Um, it really is just like this. These are the colors in front of me, and I'm gonna see if I can use most of them. But um,
Is
I
it?
think.
Oh,
Mhm.
go ahead, please.
One thing that I know, like I say, I think one thing is just more. It's just not instinctual in the way that I think some people can like work with really bold things and be like, oh, this looks good together. So I think my plein air painting is pretty okay. Like, I think it's a skill I've developed. But when it comes to like, there are some people who do plein air painting that they can just infer different colors. It's like, oh, this is going to be pink because I want it
Yeah.
to be pink. I think that's something I get jealous over because I'm just like, where did you get that? Like, what in the world?
How did you decide? Yeah. How are you willing to let go of all these other things that are in front of us? And
Hmm.
no, I get that. I have the tendency to, like, when I'm out doing plein air drawing, which I don't do very often, but when I do,
Hmm.
I fall back into this world of, like, I don't draw the way that I paint or that I collage or that I make illustrations.
Yeah.
Back to this, like,
Yeah.
weird, like, college level, maybe post college drawing style that I had, and
Hmm.
it feels awkward to me, um,
Hmm.
or it feels like somewhat dated in some way. Um, is there, stylistically, you came about to the world that you live in right now, which, is this, there's like humans, and they're I would put it this way: the humans that you draw are more towards human than they are cartoon.
Yeah.
uh,
Hmm.
the idea of, like, you have realistic shadows, and
Hmm.
they have all the fingers they're supposed to have, uh, you know that level. But is there, what kind of choices do you make when it comes to uh, that
Hmm.
realm of deciding, like, when and where to make um, stylistic choices? Is it, obviously it's
Hmm.
book, but is there, like, what book you're working on, but is there, like, a moment where
Hmm.
you go, oh, this is the style I have to do?
Hmm. Uh, a lot of it comes down to, I guess, like the sketching phase. Like what feels good. It's almost like you're kind of you're like giving birth to a character. And it sounds kind of strange now. I'm going to put into words, but when I'm reading a manuscript, I try to print it out, like the whole thing, and I doodle on it like you do, like when you're at school and like someone's giving you like the most boring lecture ever. Um, and I think in that boredom, it's almost like when I draw the character, I can literally feel like like when I make the lines and the gestures for them, I feel like I'm literally like bringing them to life. And
Okay.
in that
Yeah.
process, it
The,
just, oh, mhm.
oh, no, go ahead, please, please, please.
Yeah. And like in the process of like basically fleshing them out, oftentimes I just find myself thinking like, I think they should have 5 fingers. I think that they should have pupils instead of dots for eyes. Um, it's almost like getting to know them, and I think it's maybe just my lack of cartooning skill that I end up going for more. I don't want to say like realistic because I think it's more just I want to be able to form them in a way that's closer to like a reality that I know rather than like realism, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, everybody has their, like, what's real to them, or what's important to them from the real.
Hmm.
Like some people are lighting people. I look at your work and I understand like you have a sense of light that shows up in your work, and you have a sense of
Hmm.
um, like what do I want to say? You have a sense of time and light
Hmm.
and perspective. And I don't mean perspective like railroad tracks going back in space. I mean,
Oh.
sense of like the viewpoint that you take is very sort of your own making. And then you
Hmm.
have someone like Mo Willems, who,
Yeah.
you know, he's not your lighting person. He's not your the person. Like his stuff doesn't feel like home. His stuff doesn't feel like it has crazy perspectives happening, or the camera is not changing in location all the time. And so some of that has got to be you know a choice, but also some of that is a instinctual thing that just comes from somewhere. And
Hmm.
one of the questions I can sort of throw at that is when you were young, when you were a little kid, obviously
Hmm.
you had cartooning and shows and things of the sort were of interest to you, but did you spend time like looking at light, looking at doing still life studies or going out and painting outside or those kinds of things, or was that something that came about because of a learned artistic practice?
Mm. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Like I said,
Um.
tough
Mhm.
question. You gotta, if you don't want to answer them, you can say boo and we can move on.
No, it's making me ponder. Um, I'm like thinking back to high school, Julie. I mean, I was doing like figure drawing and plein air painting, I think by junior year of high school.
Okay.
So I think that I was really dead set on getting into RISD or at least like a school equivalent to it. Because I really wanted to just like prove, like I went to a really rigorous public high school. Like we had like 9 valedictorians. That's how
What?
competitive it was.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
A valedictorian is the top person.
Well, we had 9. We had 9 people.
And were you one of them?
No, God.
The
Like, ooh, ooh.
was wait because you mentioned high school Julie. I want to find out who high school Julie is. Was yeah? Let's go back there for a second. Were you?
Hmm.
Did you have that like? Uh, were you into like emo music? Were you the? Did you have that little hair that went down over your face? That
No.
what? What was high school Julie like?
I was a weeb.
Wait, what's a weeb mean?
Oh no. Oh gosh. It's someone who really likes anime.
Oh, okay, okay. I've heard the term. I've lost it. Uh,
That's good.
I have students that throw terms at me all the time, and I have to figure out what they are. And I learned. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this one on here or if it's considered a bad thing. But chuz.
What is that?
I think huz means. This is what they told me. So if I'm saying this wrong, and I'm not supposed to be saying this of any sort, please, people, let me get through this. But uh,
Hmm.
a a huz is the terminology for a hoe, and chuz is the chopped version. And chopped apparently means like ugly.
Whoa.
I learned this the other day, or they told me this the other day. I don't know if any of it's true. I don't know if it's a term that people actually use. It's just the stuff they told me.
Whoa.
So if that means anything to you, that is something that shouldn't be said on air, please forgive me. I'm an old man. Things are different in my day. Um,
Hmm.
I like I like your answer. Your response says, "Mm-hmm, sure, sure, old man."
Nah, you're still young.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on from
Mhm.
that. Uh,
Yeah.
the so one of the things that always has hit me, and we were talking about style, that I want to sort of go to this. Um, One of the things that I think is really interesting, especially with, and this is going to be me being an old man here for a second, but certain generations go through style choices and things that they like because of the era that they grew up.
Mm-hmm.
From students that I have, there's definitely a distinct style that people like, shows they watched, the media that they were able to partake in. There was a time frame in which you grew up that is different than someone who grew up 10 years before you or 20 years before you or whatnot. But
Mm-hmm.
that being said, do you feel like you're at a point where the things that you like have separated or become something other than what is typically exciting to a teenager? Or like, if I look back
Mm-hmm.
at stuff I liked when I was a teenager, I have no interest in it now.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, do you still have some attachment to the stuff that you grew up with, or have you gotten to a point where you're like, oh, that's high school Julie?
Uh, I think the positive things I kept is I still really I can't keep up as much because it's popular, but I still love anime. I still love reading manga. I mean, it really just supplements the art stuff because like I loved Ghibli as a kid. I loved you know, Pixar and my God, like just manga from Japan. And I think, and like, American comics, I really like not superheroes, but there was like one called Saga. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I really love that. Um, so I think like that part of teenage Julie, I really respect. I'm glad that, because like, again, it like inspired me to be a better artist. Like
Yeah.
those interests were like, oh, like I want to do that. I want to do the things that they're doing. But the thing I definitely think I'm glad that I've outgrown, and I think it's not really necessarily like a style thing, but I think this idea of having to prove that you can do it all and like putting a lot of pressure on yourself, I don't miss that of my high school self.
Meaning
Um,
you were trying to be good at everything, or what do you mean by that? The pressure.
uh, just like thinking like, oh, like everyone's my competition. You
Oh,
have to like really do everything yourself, like not rely on others. Like I think when you actually get into the illustration career, like at least what it is now, it's a lot more collaborative and a lot more like cooperative. And I think a lot of people, at least what my teacher sold me, like I had a teacher being like, you're all going to be competing against each other and hate each other. But I've recommended people for jobs and they've recommended, you know, me for jobs. So it's a lot more friendly, I think.
well, wait. Are you recommending him for the trash jobs though? Are
No.
you like, hey, I got someone that would be good for this, you know, $500 picture book that you're self-publishing?
Oh God, no. I don't even touch that.
Okay.
But it's more like, especially because I have a lot of friends who wanted to do editorial but got like a little bit later of a start. So if there's like articles I don't want to do, I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, like you should look at this person,
Yep. That makes
you
sense.
know? Yeah.
The I mean, I completely get the gist of that, and I am like, I was telling students the other day. Did you read do you read any illustration books when you were in school or post, like any Stephen Heller stuff?
No.
Okay. So
Hmm.
this is a book that I use in my class all the time. There's this book by Stephen Heller, who is a writer that is um, he works in the realm of essentially design, illustration, that kind of stuff, and
Hmm.
books with Marshall Arisman. Um,
Mm. Oh, yeah.
and the books themselves are a lot of like, there's a, how to teach illustration and blah blah blah. But this one that I had was about um, uh, the ethics. This article that I had these students read was about sort of like the
Mm.
that you choose as an artist to abide by, and what does that say about you, and all these different things. And I had students do this exercise where they had to write their own sort of commandments of what they would and wouldn't do. And
Mm.
during that discussion, one of the things that I talked about was being envious of other illustrators. And
Hmm.
I imagine that most people went through this. I'm assuming you did too at some point, where you go, how come they got this job?
Mm-hmm.
Especially early on when you're young, when you're like in college or out of college, just barely and whatnot, this inkling of I could do a better job than they could.
Mm-hmm.
The competitive side, which I think RISD also has a challenge of, they really bring that out in people. With
Yeah.
I'm the best in my high school, and now all of a sudden I'm thrown amongst all these wolves, and I have to figure out a way to stand out with them all. But that idea of like, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out how to say it. Lost the train of thought there. Oh, but that idea about being envious of other people, I think that is something that a lot of illustrators go through. And I think once you get to that mature level of illustration, it really doesn't matter anymore. Like you want success
Yeah.
for everybody. And
Mm-hmm.
for those like giving jobs to a friend, absolutely makes sense. You're just like, this person would be good for this. And it's not my cup of tea, but they would be great at it.
Mm-hmm.
That I think is a nice maturity that shows up later in someone's career.
Yeah.
That's a long-winded way to get to that information. Sorry. Um, so tell me a little bit about the illustration, like the children's book market. Obviously, you got some work doing that, but um,
Mm-hmm.
it must have been fun to start in that realm and see stuff come out and be new and interesting and a change of pace for what you were doing previously. Um, what was the initial reaction? Were you excited? Were you scared? Seeing a book in print that had your name on it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely excited. I think just uh the really it was the fear for me was doing my first reading, I think. Because don't really I think I grew up with a lot of like older people in my life. So when it came to actually like, oh, I have to like make this entertaining for kids, that was like the scariest part for me. Um But it ended up being really fun because kids kind of, I mean, granted, I've seen what kids can do when you're like, I guess they deem you as weak and then they like torture you. But
They can
um,
screw you in an instant and tear you down.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah. But I've been lucky I've had very nice children at all the readings I've done. So, um, it's been a really nice thing. And it's great to like meet the parents too. Like see like, oh, like um what do you like reading to your kid, like
Yeah.
does this book work for you, why do you like this book? um and I think also just the community around the kidlit has been really beautiful too. Like when I've been to the Society of Illustrators shows for the editorial stuff, um but it is like not night and day, but it's close when you look at the events. Like I remember going to my first original art show and just thinking like, this is so different. The vibes are immediately a lot more friendly.
Is I mean the kidlit world, and I've said this for a while, and I think part of it is because I'm in this community, and maybe things have changed since I was in the the world of editorial in some sense. But I feel like the kidlit world is very much a let's all support each other. Let's
Hmm.
all your voice matters, even if you don't know exactly what you're doing, you're new to it, etc. There's a lot of like, you're cool. Let's let you know express yourself the way that you want to be. And obviously, that doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody gets a job where they get that kind of freedom.
Yeah.
But I do think that it is more so there than it is in some other, like editorial is this is gonna sound weird, but I feel like editorial is business
Hmm.
and kidlit is play.
Yeah.
And so
Like
that,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Hmm. No, I'm sorry I keep interrupting you.
How dare you? This is my show. You need to check yourself at the door. No, there's a delay. We'll chalk it up to a delay. Um,
Hmm.
but have you had that like the warm welcome through the whole thing?
Oh, everyone's been lovely. Like I remember when the book From Far Away came out, my publisher was able to get like David Wiesner, to do an event with us, and I was like, oh my God, David Wiesner. Um, So now I'm kind of friends with David Wiesner because of just, reaching out. He's also like in the Philly area, so like we kind of like it helps that we're both local.
Yeah.
But I could never have done that with like the same editorial people. Like when you're high up there, you're kind of like treated like royalty.
There's I mean, someone like mentioning someone like Marshall Arisman, like
Hmm.
we're not going to touch Marshall Arisman's status, or at least I'm not going to any time in my lifetime. Um, just so um, what do I say? Like he's an icon of that world.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
Brad Holland, those kind of like those are people that you're not going to get near of any sort.
yeah.
They've just been doing it so long. But Kidlit, it's sort of like you're new. Who cares? You can talk to people.
Hmm.
Go to events and actually just talk to your heroes, which is really weird. Um,
Yeah.
who are the heroes? Who are the people that you're uh, who's someone that you met that obviously you mentioned one, but are there people that you're like, I need to meet this person someday? And then is there anybody that um, you have met already that you're like, I'm surprised that I got to ever talk to this person. That they
Uh,
light of day.
I would love to meet Sean Tan. I think I'd throw up and cry, not onto him, but like like be like Sean.
I mean, had to, if that was if that was the only way where you were going to meet him, would you throw up on him?
I would, but I'd catch it before it landed on him. I'd be like, I won't let you go through this.
There's if my wife is listening, there's the quote for the show because we always grab a quote and put on it is, would you throw up if you could meet him? Would you throw up on him? Just very very random statement that's thrown in the middle. Um,
Hmm.
is there are there artists that you look at and you're like that you already know that you're like, how did this even come to be?
I actually was able to go to Milkwood last September, so I
Oh,
got
that's
to meet
right.
Sophie Blackhall.
Okay. Is that wait?
Oh,
Is Bacall not Black Call?
oh, maybe Bacall. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Sophie. Oh, I don't know.
Hold on. No, it's a matter of you probably are saying it right because I never met her, so I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know what's the right way to say it.
I think it's Black Call.
Okay, well, yeah, that's how you say it.
Oh my
We'll,
God.
we'll let that. It's a real shame. You're never going back.
No.
You've been blacklisted at this point. No way.
Yeah.
You get no option to return. How was it? How was Milkwood?
Totally worth it. It like reset my creative juices.
Was tell me like I understand that sort of what it is, but what actually happened while you were there?
You can kind of do whatever. It's a residency where you basically have access to the whole Milkwood Farm. So you can spend most of your day, like a lot, it's a mixture of writers and illustrators in the residency I signed up for. And some of us were working on actual deadlines. Some of us were working on writing our own, books. And then some people were a lot more beginners. Like a few people hadn't even published yet, but they were working on it. So I think it was a really good mix of people, and you can kind of ordinate your days however you want. You will have to like cook dinner one or two nights. Shout out to Jacob if he's watching Milkwood. We were in the same group. Uh, but it's a great way to like meet other artists and writers and kind of just take your load off just reading the extensive library that they have. Like that was I was working on a deadline, so I didn't get to read as much as I wanted to. You can do plein air painting because it's beautiful up there. Um,
Is it
it's lovely.
wait? Where is it again?
Upstate New
In New York?
York? Yeah,
Okay. For some reason, in my mind it was in Michigan, but you're probably right with New York. Have you ever
yeah.
been to Michigan?
No, I've never been
It's
to
in
the
New York.
Midwest except for Chicago.
If you haven't been to Michigan, it's not in Michigan. Then that's
Okay,
we'll start out very quickly with that
no,
answer.
no,
Um,
no.
with the group that was there, was I mean, obviously there was lots of people starting and things of the sort, but was the residency itself, was it like crit based or was it work based? What was the majority of the stuff you were doing? Was it
Uh, mhm. Was it? Oh, it really depends on the vibe of your group. Like, I think at the end of, like, close to the end of our stuff, we were like, hey, like, let's look over what we've all done. But we had heard that there were other groups, where they were doing like critiques every day. It just really
oh,
depended on what everyone was needing to do. But because we were all so different, it was just like, let's come at the end and talk about what we're doing.
and when you did it, did you, this is a dumb question because I always thought about like maybe I should do that at some point. Did you
Hmm.
crit or was the residency a pure residency that it was free to go, assuming you got selected?
You pay.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's worth it's tax deductible. Like,
That's the, like, I've been on art residencies where you get the free ride, but of course you have to pay, you have to bring your own supplies, and there's stuff where you end up paying
yeah.
for traveling and things of the sort. But the actual location where you stay is uh,
Hmm.
is free. But um, the Milkwood is one of those ones where it's just like the the group that seems to always go, and seeing the pictures of people there, I'm always excited. Same thing with I don't know if you've ever seen the is it Scholastic? No, the highlights
Oh yeah,
uh,
yeah,
farm, or where they used to do their big events and whatnot. And it's like I want to go to that someday.
yeah.
I've officially done highlights work. I should be. I think once you do the work, you can actually like go at some point if they invite you. But someone's got to invite me. No one wants
Hmm.
to invite me anywhere. It's sad.
No.
I'm a sad sap. Um, so uh, outside of outside of art, one of the questions I like to ask people is sort of like, what are your other hobbies? What are the things that you do that are unart related that somehow feed into your artistic world?
You're not supposed to have other hop. No, I'm kidding. Um, definitely. I really like cooking, so
Oh yeah, you're a soup person or something, right?
I love soup. It's best. We're just vessels for soup.
You're gonna,
Um,
you're gonna hate me because guess what? Uh huh.
you you hate soup?
I don't like hot liquids.
Whoa.
So like tea and coffee and that kind of stuff, that's not my jam of any sort. But I like stews. I like chowders, like thick things. But like a soup,
Hmm.
I'll pass.
Whoa.
One that gets a pass for me, I guess, really is miso soup.
Mm, hmm.
I'm willing to do that one. Outside of that, no, get out of here. I don't want to see them.
That's so controversial.
What's your favorite soup then? What's your soup du jour?
Oh my God. It's really hard. I really like miso soup is a really good one. I'm a really big fan of Korean soups like the kimchi, so, not kimchi, the sundubu stew, like soft tofu stew.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get
Um,
away with tofu. If it's got tofu, you get a little bit of a pass there for me.
thanks. But I went, at RISD, I really love the chowder too. So it really just depends. But I love all soups. I'm Miss Soup Wide. Like,
With oh, I was gonna say there was something about soup I was gonna mention. Shoot,
Mhm.
I lost it. Uh, if you are a big soup fan, are you are you having soup more than once a week?
uh, not that crazy, but it's like a nice little reset almost whenever I have soup. Mm.
It's a so you're when you're having soup, it is just a I know this is a weird question. This is like, where did this come from? Why am I obsessed with soup that I'm asking these questions? Uh, because I don't quite understand it 100%. Like, I don't want
Hmm.
noodle soup. No need. I'll eat the noodle,
Whoa.
but the runniness. Ugh. Um, are you someone who has soup on the regular in the sense of like you go out of your way to make soup, or is it
Mm.
just soup is on the menu because hey, I got home, I'm tired, and there's a can of soup there? Wait a second, that's probably controversial saying a can of soup for somebody who likes soup.
No, any form of soup is appreciated.
Yeah.
I think it's more of just like it's a really great way to get your vegetables in. I think that's what I really like about it. And it's a very nice way to experience like other cultures. Like I like cooking soups from other um cuisines, like pozole, matzo ball soup. I grew up with matzo ball soup, so I have a soft spot for that one. Um, curry, different curry soups. Yeah, it's so versatile.
And is there anything on the menu that would compete with the soup for you? Like
Oh,
like the equivalent of I'm a burrito person. If there's a burrito place somewhere, I need to try it.
mm-hmm.
And so that's probably my soup, or that's my burrito is your soup. But that doesn't mean that that's like there are other things that are up there in that same ballpark that
Mm-hmm.
if given the chance, like a place where there's pierogies, I'm all.
Ooh.
And so like give me a pierogi in that moment. And I'm wondering, are there things that are uh, competing for dominance, like the pierogi is for me?
Noodles, probably.
A
Like
specific
noodle
type of
dishes.
noodles, or just noodles in general?
Noodles existing. Um,
Okay.
but if not that, then like I actually really like sushi. So I think that would be like, oh no, it's time to consume that.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Is there?
hmm
I asked. I forget what it was that I had on it recently, where I said it's the dumb question of like if you were um, stuck on a desert island, what's the one food that you would want to bring with you? Is it one of those, or is there something else that you're like, oh, I need this instead?
I mean, I think soup kind of gets all your bases because you can get the nutrition, um, the protein, the vegetable, and your liquids. So I think it's a good survival food too. Mm.
The uh man, what was I gonna, there was something I have there that was some soup thing. I can't remember what it was. Doesn't matter. Um okay.
hmm
So outside of cooking, you said, I mean, I said the thing about what is your passion outside of art, and
Oh,
one of them, but is there like a type of art in particular that is outside of illustration or outside of
mhm.
editorial that you've sort of latched onto that is your um, maybe doesn't show up in your work, but
Mhm.
you think is important to the context of what you do?
I really like movies. Like I like watching horror movies. Actually, I really like from time to time. I like to support the different animations, like the French animations. The French are killing it um at the moment, like things like that. Reading too, like I think really underrated. People don't read enough. Um,
When you say horror movies, what kind of horror are we talking? Are we talking like gory stuff? Are we talking scary stuff? Are we
I
talking?
can do anything.
Have you? I was just talking to a student about this today,
hmm
and I don't know uh, if everybody's seen this. Have you seen the movie Rubber
Rubber?
about the homicidal tire?
Oh my God, no.
Okay, you need to see it. It's a weird movie. And you said French, right? It's two French guys, if I remember correctly.
Oh
That
yeah.
directed it, and they've directed a bunch of weird movies, but it's about a homicidal tire.
Oh
Uh,
my God.
and so there's that for you. But do you like the cheesy horror stuff too, though? Like my wife and I are big into Final Destination, that whole series.
hmm
That is that kosher in your world?
Yeah. Yeah, that's like camp in a way.
Yeah. Do you are
hmm
are you saying that in a way where you're like, I don't like camp?
No, I love Cam.
Okay. Okay, good. Then we're on the
Yeah.
same page. Nothing's wrong.
No, I mean, I think most movies have a right, like any art has a right to exist. I think the only ones where I'm a little bit iffy about is like the ones that are like purposely stirring up something that's really disrespectful. Like there's that one guy who made like the guy who, oh my God, what was it? Like the murder of O.J. Simpson's wife or
Oh,
whatever, and it was so distasteful. Basically, kind of victim blaming her for getting murdered. Like that kind of stuff I don't love,
yeah, yeah.
but
Okay.
it's very rare.
I've never even, I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that was a movie that was out there.
But don't see it. It's
Yeah.
horrible.
Okay. I
No.
won't. I won't.
Yeah.
I'll let it be. It's
Yeah.
not. I actually do you like a jump scare?
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, that's where you and I differ. I'm it's not. I'm not a baby. Okay, stop saying I'm not.
Yeah.
But no, I've never had that desire. So like doing haunted houses and that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
My cup of tea of sorts. Um, I'm gonna do something crazy just so you know. Oh,
Hmm.
Pearl. Seen Pearl?
Pearl. Is that the one that's with the lady who was married to Shia LaBeouf, or is that a different one?
Oh, I don't know if the lady was married. It's a lady who has no eyebrows.
Yeah, yeah, Mia, whatever her name is.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah, yeah.
God. It's been
Yes.
on my list.
Oh, you have to see that. But you have to see the first movie. I think it's XXX. Is it
Yeah.
one or
Hmm.
something like that? Because you need the context. You need some context from it. But
Hmm.
Pearl, I love that one. It's got a couple scary moments and whatnot in it, but it's like it's it's disturbing is more
Mm.
the vibe to it, and so. Um, but I was gonna let you know I'm starting this thing over. I don't like where it was going, and
Oh,
so
really?
it's 9:30, and I'm gonna go hard, and
Hmm.
I'm gonna do this without a lot of extra time to be able to make the image that I want. Um, so
Oh.
we're gonna test our skill here. Um,
Hmm.
it's rare that I start something this late. Um,
Hmm.
how's the work coming? Let me see. Like zooming in. We got birds. Now wait, is that a cat that you're doing now?
Oh, this is my cat. I've been
Oh
yeah.
yes. Was it moonshine or something like that?
Mo the moon pie.
Moon pie. That's
Hmm.
what. Okay. What's
Hmm.
so you're a cat person.
Love them. Hmm.
One cat,
One
or
cat.
are we going
Yeah.
to crazy cat lady at some point?
No, I think I don't want to do more than two. I think I want to give them, oh my God, you're going to hear him meowing right now because he's curious.
How old is Kitty?
He's 3 years old.
So he's still a kitty.
Yeah, he's a teenager, essentially, I guess. Mr. Mo, do you want to go outside? I'm just going to open the door for him real fast.
Wait, whoa. So uh um King of Prussia is
Hmm.
safe enough to let a cat outside?
Oh, we're on like the balcony, and he just likes to like be out, like to feel the wind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
go out and roam the world from that location. Okay.
No,
That
also he
like
doesn't want to.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
for a minute. Like we live on a busy corner, and so the idea of
Hmm.
letting a pet outside without any supervision turns into a scary situation for us. Um,
Hmm.
and Mr. Moon Pie, how do we come up with a name?
We saw him at the shelter, and we did not think we were gonna get a cat, of course. Um, but he just like stole our hearts. He came up to us in his little cage, and
Oh,
you're like, you're so cute. And his name was Miles originally, which we hated. That was a horrible name for him. Um, so we were trying to come up with a name with an M, and just Mo came first, and then but he looks like a little moon pie, like the dessert. So we decided to kind of make it, I guess, an epithet for him.
okay. Okay. With the name Moon Pie. Well, let me. I feel like, and I could be. Um, overstepping my bounds in this argument here, but I feel like
Mhm.
artists tend to not have normal names for their pets.
Yeah.
Like I would feel ashamed if my pet was, Spot or Buddy or those kinds of names. Like it needs to be something ridiculous in all cases. And I don't know if that's true for everybody, but it sure is for me and my family. We're not going to let our pets go
Hmm.
stupid names. Well, that sounds bad because it sounds like I'm putting down everybody else. But yeah, they're stupid names. Uh, so Moon Pie gets a pass for me. Uh,
Thank you.
what? But now here's the challenge though. Moon Pie is not probably the name that you call Moon Pie, right?
Mm.
You have like 10 other names.
Yeah.
What are the other names?
Moyo.
Moyo.
Yeah, Moyo.
Okay. What else you got? Let's.
Mr. Mo.
I feel like you're like hiding. You're hiding one of the like more obscure ones. You're like, I don't know if I could say this one on it. They're like, these are pretty subtle or tame ones so far. Mr. Mo, Moo,
Yeah.
etc. And then in the background, it's like Movilius the third of the blah 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 generation.
Oh, yes,
That's
yes,
a
those.
secret name. Yeah.
Well,
That-
sometimes we give him the combined last names of me and my partner, which is kind of long. So I guess like that counts.
yeah. That's
Or
what
like, hmm
I need to know is what
hmm
secret name that you only share with your closest and dearest friends. Um,
Yeah.
with being in the I'm going back to this is where I like shift gears very quickly. Going back to the kid
Mhm.
world, um, thinking back to sort of your youth and the books that you had available to you, was there a book in particular, like a standout that was the book that really sort of set itself apart from the other choices that you had to read at the time?
Ooh. Hmm. I mean, I really liked it wasn't something we had to read, but I went to synagogue and I remember they would read us every Hanukkah Herschel and the Hanukkah Goblins.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really cool book.
Hanukkah goblins?
Yeah, also kind of horror related now I think about it. Um,
I didn't realize. Like, I thought that the holiday times was for fun and nice things. Well, I guess Krampus is scary, but I've never heard of Hanukkah goblins. What
yeah.
what what do they do? What's their vibe? The Hanukkah
Their
goblin.
their vibe is to do evil. Um, the whole like the con did you know what Hanukkah's about at all
Yeah,
or
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, you
I'm
know,
not a cultured swine,
no,
but
I
yeah.
mean,
So what do they do? Are they like mischievous and steal presents, or what's the setup there?
the whole thing is like Herschel kind of has to guard the menorah, like hoping that the candles will not be blown out because the basically the goblins have like wagered essentially like these candles will go out and like bad things will happen to this like small town. Um, it's really good. It's like I think nowadays would be kind of hard to sell because of how many words there are in the book.
Okay.
But I just thought it was such a clever idea. I also just kind of miss having antagonists, I think, like in children's books.
Yeah, the
Like,
big bad isn't always there.
yeah, like I think it's good what we're doing now. Like, because a lot of things that are evil, right, are just misunderstood. But I like the fact that you're trying to, it's almost like Herschel trying to outsmart all these goblins, essentially. Um, and he just has to do it with like basically kind of like poker facing them until he faces like the biggest and most powerful goblin on the eighth night. So the goblins also just keep getting stronger and more clever, essentially, as the nights of Hanukkah go on.
I yelled down that it has a Caldecott.
Oh, I didn't even realize it has
Yeah.
a Caldecott.
Yeah. This is one that I've never heard of. Like, I don't know every book that's been produced, of course, but I've never heard of this one, nor have I heard of
Yeah.
the concept of Hanukkah goblins, which sounds kind of amazing that I need to go pursue this book and see what it's about.
Mhm.
And were was this, like, how old were you when you had this book?
It was just normally read to us, I think, like starting in first grade, like every Hanukkah in synagogue.
And then was it scary at that point? Or was
Yeah. Hmm.
but I mean, you knew what was coming after the first reading of it. It's not like it was uh like a surprise the second time through. But were the images scary?
Yeah. Like I think it's the kind of scary though where you can't just help look at it.
Okay.
Like the goblins are so well rendered, it's kind of disgusting. um and I think the way he produces like the night scenes are just really evocative. Actually, it might have been a woman who illustrated it. Like whoever illustrated it, I think they were different. Um, it was so well done in a way that like I'm still thinking about it to this day of like how good it was.
And then like were there books that I mean, is that one that you still own in some capacity?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then are there books that, like, you grew up with that you how do I want to say it? Like, you've lost ways, you parted ways with them, and they
Mm-hmm.
like a distant memory, like, oh, I remember this book, but I don't know what it's called, kind of situation.
Oh yeah. I think this I do remember what it was called, but I was so upset when we were going through my old stuff and I could not find it. I was like, I thought I owned this, but it was called The Big Pumpkin.
Big Pumpkin. Okay.
It's basically like this pumpkin gets stuck and all these monsters have to go like and try to push it out.
I'm trying to think of, like, that sounds vaguely familiar, but like
Hmm.
just like some other context that I have for that story. Um,
Yeah.
with now you are sort of at an age where the sort of the majority of, because forgive me for this question, this is probably a weird question to ask, but you're at an age where people start, like, getting married and having kids and things of the sort. I'm not asking you if you're getting married and having kids. That's not. But that idea of being around, because you said originally that at one point that you didn't grow up with a lot of, like, young people around. You had older parents and things of the sort. Are you at
Hmm.
a point now where you get to experience, like, kids beyond just the book fairs and things that you do? Do you get to experience kids in a different way where, like, you get to see them personally react to stories and read to them in some capacity that is beyond just a book event?
Hmm. No, I think that's a very good question. I have a lot of cousins who are older than me who have kids now.
Okay.
So I think that's been really fun. Like I get to mail them like the newest book, and they get to give me like when I was making theirs at Sun again, one of them loves to draw, so like I used her drawings as an inspiration for some of the kids' drawings.
Oh,
Hmm.
was she old enough to know what that meant? Or, like, that the the drawings in the book were published, and like how big of a deal that is that not all kids get that kind of opportunity to see their sort of inspiration show up in a book?
She's still kind of young, so uh, I just want her to encourage her to keep doing art. So most of the time we hang out is just like, hey, like, are you still drawing? Like, let's, you know, that I think that's more fun for me, honestly, than her being, like, I'm in a book. She'll get it eventually. Like, I'm in no rush
You don't need her
with that.
to fangirl over or, like, to get a big head at this point. over the
She's
book.
like 10. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Um, it's
Woo!
that idea of little kids and the even when my son, when I went to his school, I think when he was really little there was this excitement to like, this is my dad, he's in school, but I don't think it had anything to do with my dad's here to read one of his books. I think it was
No.
just, he's my dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there wasn't that attachment. And then now we're to a point where I think if I showed up to my kid's school, it would be embarrassing and be on a different level. But um, with with doing the readings for kids, have you done most of them at schools or at um, bookstores, or where are these readings happening?
Mostly bookstores. I'm not really in the what's it called? The school circuit yet, really.
Uh, is that something you
Um,
want to aim towards at some point, or is that sort of a not a desire?
I mean, I would love to. I think the one issue is unfortunately my books, except I mean Mungo's I think honestly my first like actual like quote unquote standard children's book. Because like Book from Far Away was wordless.
Yeah,
There's a Sun Again was poetry. Tove was a chapter book. So really this is the first one where I think I could actually probably argue to schools
yeah,
like, hey, this isn't too niche.
yeah, yeah. This can actually work for your school, and there's content here that won't disturb the kids of some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
actually, yeah, we've still gotten reviews though. Like, I think I knew like Mungo's gonna be received the way it's gonna be received. You can't kind of fight it, but I definitely think this is the first one where I think a lot of people don't like some of the pages for how scary it can be.
really?
Yeah,
Hold on, I'm gonna go back. Where are we talking in the book?
I can literally think of the pages. Like I remember one of our reviews we got was, and it was still a positive review, but they were saying like that some of the pages might be too scary for children, like young children.
Oh, that's interesting.
And yeah,
Well, I don't really see it, but I mean, there are so many books that are darker that we read toward. I mean, the where the wild things are. Like, there's some
yeah,
scary, messed up stuff. I thought maybe it would be just like a color tone thing, like, oh,
hmm
at one point, but there's nothing scary in it.
yeah. I
I,
mean the pages with the owl
yeah,
and
the meaning
yeah,
like the owl is a threat to uh to foxes in general, or when you say the owl, meaning like in what capacity or do you know what capacity they're talking about when they say that?
I can just see like, oh, they don't like the sharp claws of that owl coming out and going like who. I know that page with the animals kind of coming out of the underbrush. Like that's I knew when I illustrated it, I was like, people aren't gonna like this. But I still went with it.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, it's sort of a disconnect for me because I don't see an issue with it of
Oh,
any.
thanks.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, I'm not every adult out there and can't go like, well, everybody else is dumb and they should. Um, but I think that people are giving, or they're not giving children enough credit in that situation to make a decision for themselves. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I think they can handle a lot more. I mean, some of the books that my wife and I collect are really I don't want to say dark, but they're like, some of the themes are pretty intense, like war and things of the sort. And like
hmm
the books are fine, like kids can understand it, and it's not that big of a challenge for them. But is there a book or a type of book that you would like to work on going forward? Like, do you have a dream project at this point? I mean, obviously, writing your own, I assume, is.
Yeah.
But is there something where you're like, oh man, I would really love to do a book on this kind of subject?
Ooh. It's I definitely think like the big goal right now, right, is like getting just the author illustrator. Because again, writing's hard, but I think if it was just illustrating something, I really want to try a graphic novel eventually.
Did you take comics or anything when you were in school?
I really honestly There's so many things I wish I did. I wish I took a writing course. Wish I took more book courses, but I was so dead set on editorial. I was like, this is all I'm gonna do.
Yeah, so, the that idea. I mean, you essentially know sequential at this point. There's no disconnect with picture books are basically a big sequential project, and it's a matter of you just need to add some more frames into the mix. But is that like do you? Okay, this is going to be a loaded question here. Feel free to answer.
Hmm.
Feel, um,
Hmm.
but do you enjoy working on long form projects?
Ooh,
And the reason I ask is, for me, editorial was really fun in the sense that every project was new, and
yeah,
stylistically you could move around quite a bit. Um, because if you worked on I wouldn't say stylistically, but if you didn't like a project, it didn't last very long.
yeah, that's true.
You can jump
Hmm.
relatively quickly. But something like Kidlit, there is a little bit of a challenge of, you got to work on at least, you know, 28 spreads or whatever it may be, number wise. And if you don't like it, that can be a real challenge. Or
Hmm.
they don't like it, but or if it's something that is not your cup of tea, is to work on long form projects. And so I asked,
Hmm.
like, is your heart like, would you like a Kidlit project where you got to every page moves and changes more often than some of
Hmm.
the on?
Yeah, I think that would be. I think I need it actually because that was my problem with, I think, even some of the kids' books I've already done. Like, I actually don't, I wish I had more time to stay with it, and develop it further. Like, I look at some of my first children's books I did, and I love the book from Far Away. I love There Was That Sun Again, but there were so many things because I just felt like I needed to prove myself that I think I could have simplified more. I really think like
Yeah,
I should have baked with it longer, but because I think I was just more obsessed with making the deadline, which now I know like you can just like say like I just need more time and then they'll be like, okay, it's easy.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, like I wish I had more time to be like, wait, this works as a narrative. Why am I trying to outdo everyone every single page? Right.
yeah. That's, I mean, that idea of especially coming from that editorial world and
Hmm.
in the need or the desire to sort of move fast, and not to say that you don't think in that art in that situation, but you're not allowing yourself time, nor is the art director sometimes to allowing you to just sit back and go, oh, let me think about what this means. Instead,
Yeah.
I got to get this done because it's got to be printed on Tuesday. And it's not always the end of the world that it becomes so like finite like that, or that there's this structure where it's I got to have this done by this point. But Kidlit does not work that way. I learned the lesson that you just said, where it was where I thought, hey, I got to be done with this because it's this is the deadline they gave me, and it caused a lot of stress and a lot of heartache, because
Hmm.
I went under the assumption that if I didn't get it done, that I have disappointed them in some capacity. Um,
Hmm.
so I think that that's it's not uncommon. Let's put it that way
No.
for editorial folks to struggle with the time frame or the allotment of time that Kidlit allows. Um,
Hmm.
was there we're looking back, um, with the idea of the connections that have been made in your career? Obviously, you have a vested interest in uh, Kidlit and all these things. Does it feel like it naturally came to be, that you ended up in this industry and where you are today, or do you think uh, how do I put this? This is a weird statement. I'm trying to back up and figure out how I say this. Do you
Hmm.
think that you've sort of had to fight to get to the point where you are, or do you think that like no matter what you tried to do, you were going to end up back in this field?
Ooh. Hmm. Um, I think it was a little bit of both. Like, I definitely think my teachers were, a lot of them were like, why are you going to editorial? And again, looking at my work in college, it's like, yeah, why was I going into editorial? That was foolish. Not foolish. Again, I'm very proud of what I did there, but I think the one thing that I'm having to fight with for that, again, like the kidlit environment's really sweet and like really welcoming. I think it's more just trying to open myself to like letting myself really enjoy the industry for what it is. And one of those things is actually embracing being a writer. I think
Okay.
that's like really hard for me right now.
Did you take any writing classes when you were in school?
No, because I'm dumb. Like, like
Wait. Do you mean no because you're dumb because you didn't take them, or because literally you're a dumb person? Uh,
no, it's worse.
yeah, yeah.
I,
The
I was literally like an English major, like a sorry, an English minor.
really?
Yeah, but I took all the classes where I love analyzing things. So like all the classes I took in the English minor were about analyzing work from other people. So I learned how to read well. Like I can analyze a book really well. But now I'm like, oh no, I have to write the book? Like, oh
Yeah.
no.
That's funny. The like separation of that is a funny concept of mine. That there's you've uh, you've disconnected the writing and the reading part of it. Is there with now that you are writing or trying to wait, is the book that you're working on, is it has it been bought?
It's exists, but not we're working on it. We're workshopping it, me and my agent. But she's excited for it, and that means a lot because Rebecca's has good opinions. So that's all that matters for me.
Wait, you have Rebecca Sherman, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
At why am I drawing a blank?
Writer's
Is it right?
House?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Um, yeah, there's names that enough agents over time that I've heard, and like I've heard so many good things about her. I've heard good
Hmm.
things about a few others that are at that agency. I mean, Writers House is a who's who of stars that are on that list. Like when I go and I'm referencing for mentees and things of the sort, like, hey, here's some agents you can go look at, and I bring them to Writers House. I'm like, okay, well, here's this superstar in the industry, and here, oh, look at this, the person that's right next to him in this listing of artists is also a superstar.
Hmm.
Kind of funny the powerhouse that runs through that studio, or through that agency rather. Um,
Hmm.
but with the writing thing, what's been the hardest part for you?
I think balancing the script with the images. Like I feel like I think in images first, but when it comes to the words, I'm like, oh no, what are they supposed to say? What's cheesy? What's there's not the confidence, I guess.
Well, are you writing it first and then illustrating, or are you like what's the order in which you're doing the work then?
Um, I illustrated it well first in image, I guess, and then kind of added the words. Like I basically the first thing that came to me was an image with some text, and I just kind of worked from there. But I think I'm realizing just there's so many things I need to set up. Like really, it's not even the writing. I guess it's more of just like how do I set things up plot wise, right?
Yeah,
Like, mhm.
structurally, how does this thing actually come to be versus
Yeah.
uh like here's some fun language that's in it.
Mhm.
That's probably the challenge for a lot of first time writers, myself included, is that
Yeah.
like, I have a good idea for a start of a story. I don't have a great
Mhm.
finish. Uh,
Mhm.
I have to figure that out as time goes on. Like, okay, how do you wrap up a story? And I'm still like, I wrote a couple, but I haven't published any of my stories, or I haven't
Mhm.
in a long time, and so it's going to be a while before I really sort of can wrap my head around again what
Mhm.
works, what doesn't. Um,
Mhm.
how did you get your agent?
Uh, I illustrated actually a book in China. A Chinese publisher wanted me to illustrate something for like a history of the Renaissance, and when I mentioned 3 months, I essentially like had 3-ish to 4-ish months to do 16 spreads of very, very detailed, researched Renaissance paintings.
Oh
That-
wow. Yeah, that's too short.
And yeah, and they paid like it was like 6,000. It was horrible. Like I mean, they were very sweet, and they actually paid me more than they did like the Chinese illustrators in China. So I was like, oh my God, like what are these people suffering under over there? Um, but that opened my mind. And again, it was during the 2021-ish, so I didn't really have much work. And I realized just like I have to change something. Editorial's not coming. And I enjoyed making the work I did for that Renaissance book, but it literally gave me tendonitis. So I just realized I need someone to vouch for me. I need someone to advocate for me, and an agent's the perfect way. So I kind of shopped around. A lot of people recommended Writer's House. So I think I originally emailed Stephen Malk.
Yep.
Um, and he was like, I'd love to take you on, but I'm actually quite busy right now. So here, like, Rebecca is looking for people. And it honestly came down between her and another agent at the cat agency.
Was that Christy?
No.
Oh, okay. I think I know who then. I'm trying to like
Yeah.
time frame for these.
Mhm.
Read between the lines.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I could give the name, but I just didn't end up going with the person. So I was like, I don't know.
I don't. My guess is there's not hard feelings there. I don't think that anybody's like, oh,
No.
you chose the other person. I mean, now if you said that they were ugly or something of the sort, that'd be. I didn't hear you. Did you say that and I missed it?
No, I did not. So that's good.
And then with Rebecca, have you had like what was the start of the relate? Because that was your first agent, right?
Hmm.
What was the start like? Like, did you have lots of um, discussions and chat about sort of where you want to go? Like for those that are listening are still searching for an agent, looking back on it,
Hmm.
what was that like? Was there any advice you would give to someone who is pursuing an agent and has to talk to one for the first time? Talk
Ooh.
sound like they're like some sort of weird foreign entity, but yeah, sort of like what would be your advice? Not necessarily how to land an agent, but those first conversations and forming that bond or relationship.
Hmm. No, that's a good question. I think kind of treat it as like you're both kind of one, like it's not an employee necessarily, but in a way they are going to be working for you. So when I was talking to Rebecca, I really wanted to make sure, hey, can you like advocate for me if I'm want an extension? Can you advocate for higher pay right off the bat? Like, will you be afraid to do that? Um, will you support, my ideas here and there if like something happens where like we're in a huge creative disagreement with the publisher? Um, and on my end specifically, I was taking care of my mom at the time who had dementia. So I told her like there's gonna be times where I might like have to turn something in, but depending on how my mom's doing, we might have to change that. And she was very forthcoming, being like, well, I'll fight for you. And I
Yeah.
think that was the main thing that drew me to her. Um, and I think I think that person was really good, but I think that they were more suited to someone who can hustle more.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I had already done a lot of hustling in my editorial life. And with my mom's situation, I didn't really want to be in that position anymore.
Do you feel like, and this is sort of I'm not sure what answer I'm looking for here, but do you feel like because you came from that editorial world that it gave a bit of an advantage because you already had work, or because you had, you had gone through a pressure cooker of speed, things of that sort? Or do you think
Mm,
totally independent from um, the the abilities that you brought, and no one like that didn't really affect it in some way?
mm-hmm. No, great question. I think that it helped me, especially The fact that I had already had some work in the New Yorker, I think actually, you know, gave me a leg up. I maybe not in Rebecca's eyes. I think she was just judging on the quality of my work, but
Yeah.
I think just having that presence of like, hey, you can like Google me and I show up definitely helps.
Yeah, yeah. You're not some rando off the street. You have some experience. I mean,
Yeah.
I say to my seniors a lot of times, like, if you're looking for an agent, one of the things that I would suggest that they do is obviously if you have work already, great. That shows that you can, meet deadlines, you can deal with art directors, you can, follow a brief, whatever it may be.
Hmm.
But if you don't, that one of the things to do is to like let them know how you work and make a page that's essentially a process page that
Yeah.
shows how I come up with my ideas. Here's how I refine them. Here's how I bring them to final and things of the sort. Because finding someone that understands or can see that potential is not always easy. And so if you can lay that out for them, so that's why I asked that question about the editorial of like, how much does that previous experience affect the uh, the connection or the relationship in a way where your art director can look at, or your agent can look at it and go, I see potential, whether
Yeah.
you work or not. Like,
Hmm.
um, and then uh, one of the questions I would throw at you here too is just thinking about um, the having an agent. Obviously, if it's your first time, were there things that were sort of surprising in the sense of what uh, what was asked of you, what you did, what your responsibility was in the sense.
Mm. Hmm.
Sometimes people think an agent is just going to solve everything. You get
Yeah.
it, and it's you're going to get work, and it's going to be perfect, and it's going to be beautiful, and you never have to struggle the rest of your life. But that's not always true, of course.
No.
And so, were there things that like surprised you after the factory? Like, oh, I didn't think about that was a thing I had to tackle, or I thought the agent would do this, that, or the other.
Hmm. Um, I think the one thing that really surprised me with Rebecca was that I think she really stressed like, yeah, if you want to keep illustrating, that's fine, but I'm going to encourage you to write your own.
To write, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, me writing? Like, like what? Um, and I'm grateful for that though, because I think it was a challenge that I really needed because I think every artist is a writer. We just communicate it differently.
Yeah, we're writing with images for the
Yeah.
majority of it, and it's a matter of can you switch that to words?
Yeah, I like to think of it as like I know there's like more to just these two authors, but I like to think of like some writers are like Tolkien and some writers are like oh my God, C.S. Lewis, right? And if you're like Tolkien, I feel like you're someone who's like I'm creating a language, like I'm basically going so in depth into this world that I know it front and back.
Yeah,
I know all the lore, I know all the history. And then there's like C.S. Lewis, where it's like I saw an image of a fawn man, walking with an umbrella and they're in the snow with a lamp. And that's how Narnia became like a thing. And
yeah.
I think that's just how closer to how I see it. And he was a writer, like the way he saw it, I think that's the most evocative way I can describe like how I've been kind of trying to write my own stories. It's like this one image, and I just have to give that image a world.
Who's are there writers? Obviously you writing is one thing, but is there a writer in particular? Now that you're mentioning a couple writers, are there any writers that you look at and you go like, man, I would love to work with that person in some capacity?
Ooh. I love Kate DeMillo's work in middle grade. I think she's phenomenal.
Is there anybody like is there anybody that can connect you to her?
Guy, if she's listening, I really loved her work with like Julia Sarda on her most recent one about the hotel. Oh my God, I forgot what it's called, but it was so good. Like,
Yeah, I have to think what is that called?
oh, her writing just doesn't feel obnoxious. Like sometimes I'm gonna be honest, middle grade is the hardest to get into, but once you get into it, you can't leave it. You know, I think it's such a fun time zone for a kid. Like I remember loving like reading middle grade stuff when I was younger. Some trash, of course, but like it's even the trash was fun because it's almost like you're getting ready for novels, right? And I feel like there's just like a wonder in that she just captures so well. Like, I just if you please if someone could connect me to work with her, that would be awesome.
I don't know her. I'm sorry. I can't help. But I
It's
mean,
okay.
sounds like she might be cool. That she might have some skill. I've heard the name. I'm just like trying to like downplay her the whole time.
Like, who was this?
Yeah. Is she the one that like wrote those like really bad but no is there,
No.
is there artists or anybody that you would ever want to pair up with in some way and become like, oh, this is a person who I would like to like collaborate with in some capacity on anything?
Hmm. Oh, that's hard because a lot of artists don't want to do that. Like, I feel like just even saying that, some people be like, I don't want to do that. Um, God.
I mean, would you want to? It's okay if you don't want to. I'm just asking the question.
I mean, if anything, it sounds horrible. I just want to. There's some artists I just love to see work because I'm like, how'd you do that?
But you don't want to particularly like work with them because you have your own voice, they have their own voice.
Yeah, like I wouldn't want to interfere with it, but I just want to learn from them. I think that's
Who,
more of the case.
okay, who are those artists?
Uh, I really love. I mean, I got to see a little bit of her, but again, so Sophie Blackhall, like the way she paints and does line work so simultaneously is so beautiful. Um, I really like. Oh my God, she doesn't do that many children's books. She actually does more magic stuff. But I really like Rovina Kai. She does these beautiful pencil drawings that I just find so evocative. Um, and she's Australian. I met her one time at one of the Society of Illustrator events, but she doesn't come by often because she's Australian, which I cannot blame her.
Yeah.
Trying to think who else. Yeah, just I mean Yuko Shimizu I think is the biggest like editorial person I can think of, but she also does books, so
Is there I'm trying to think of like the era in which you came out into the editorial world was like just post like well, I guess Victor Nagai is still working, but like Victor Nagai was huge at that,
yeah.
and I would think like you probably when you were in school, there's probably lots of talk about Joo Hee Yoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to think of all the folks that are of that sort of that same time frame that sort of rolled out of school in various capacities. Um, the wait, would you be of the era where what's his name? James Jean?
I'm a little bit after James Jean, but I love his work too. I did not love that he liked NFTs though, so that kind of brought him
Oh, you
down a
did?
peg. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I
yeah.
remember. No one else remembers, but I remember James.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Mm-mm.
Okay, interesting. Like he sold
Yeah.
for NFTs, or he just thought they were a good idea.
I think it was a little bit of both, but I also kind of understand. Like, I'm not say I still respect him a lot as an artist, but I definitely think that tapered. Like, oh, he's a human man. Like, he's not a god.
Yeah.
You can still make mistakes. But I think a lot of people who, especially illustrators who get closer to the fine art world, you see it the same thing with AI. You know, like I think a lot of the fine artists tend to gravitate more towards accepting that kind of stuff because I don't know why. Don't quote me on that. Like, there's probably a lot of fine artists who don't like AI, but I found the same thing happen with NFTs. It's like, oh, it's new and avant-garde, so thus we're going to be more accepting of it than like illustrators are, right?
Gotcha.
But I do think James Jean isn't pro AI, which is good. I just think he was kind of in the hype train for NFTs, unfortunately, for a little bit.
So let me ask you about the AI thing in the sense of, I mean, I think I understand with what you said, what your opinion is. Um,
Yeah.
how worried are you about that?
Um, on an economic level, I'm worried that our economy is being funneled into a lot of AI. As an artist, I am not really necessarily, oddly enough, worried for myself. I am worried more for the younger artists coming out.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I think like if anything, the AI for me has just made me not want to work digitally as much.
I could,
Like it's,
yeah.
mhm.
I'm
Yeah,
in,
sorry,
I'm
you're
in
saying?
the ballpark where it's the traditional. I've always been a traditional artist for the most part, but I feel a
Mhm.
lot of safety in knowing that I'm a traditional artist at this point.
Yeah, like if anything, that's a great investment.
Yeah.
Like-
It's it's harder to replicate. It's harder to, um, you don't have as many images that are files that are out there on the internet potentially, and um, it, you can see the human mistake a little bit
Yeah,
easier. But I mean,
yeah.
we just had a thing at the school that I teach at where it was really sort of sad because we promoted it like crazy and very few students showed up to it. A discussion about AI and the impacts of
Mm,
AI, and a panel of people talking about how it's affected them or what their opinions are on it.
yeah,
Some that were not necessarily against, but the students did not engage with it the way that we wanted them to.
yeah.
Frustrating. But that being said, it's one of those things. I absolutely agree with you in the sense that the thing that scares me is not for me. The thing that
Hmm.
scares me is for them because they're walking out into an environment where they don't have an established name or a brand or whatever, and so they're having to fight to just get footing first against something that is, this robot overlord of sorts. But
Hmm.
it's going to be the end of illustration or the end of kidlit or anything of the sort. I don't.
No.
I think it's just going to be, to be honest, I think it's going to pass pretty quickly because of copyright laws and things that,
Hmm.
I'm no expert. I don't know everything, so I can't say that I have every answer to that equation. But just from past history and sort of reading about it at this point, I think it's not going to have longevity in the way
No.
or that's being talked about in some sense. But um,
Hmm.
what when you walked out the door from school, what were the big like scares in that sense, or like what were you worried about most? Thinking obviously the pandemic once that hit, but when you literally were like going across the stage, was there anything that was sort of like, oh man, this is what I'm going to have to deal with when I try to start my career in some capacity?
Mm. Um, I will say this is probably not very what's it called? Relatable to a lot of people, or I guess it might be relatable if there's any older illustrators watching. Hi, sorry you might have to go through this, but um, the thing that I was most worried about is if I can actually manage being an illustrator with dealing with my mom with dementia. I think that was the biggest worry um, of figuring it out. Like I had done that stint, a lot of illustrators do, moving to New York. Um, right after RISD. And then the pandemic hit, and I kind of had to choose, like, do I go back home and try to figure out to caretake for my mom, or do I put her in a home
Yeah.
and stay in New York? And I chose my family over my career aspirations of being that like hip New York illustrator. And I think that was, it wasn't just scary because I appreciated Chris's um, tutelage in a lot of ways, but I think the way that he operated, and I think the way a lot of illustrators like him do it, is that you kind of are your 20s are for making and formulating yourself in New York City. Like you have to work for yourself. You have to work really hard. You have to hustle, um, just to like get your work in the doorway, right? To
Yeah.
get an art director.
Yeah.
And I think like me going home and having basically to kind of juggle being a caretaker while illustrating, that was my fear. I was like, I'm going to be left behind. Like, I'm not going to be able to be that illustrator that I think that I had been poised to try to be. And I think looking back on it too at RISD, like one reason I think I also went to editorial is because most of editorial was nearby to my mom. Like I think one reason I honestly gave up on animation was because I knew if I did that, I'd have to move to California, right?
Yeah.
And I think in the back of my head, I was like, she's not going to make it. Like if I go to California. So a lot of my choices, I want to say, were just like because of my creative vision or like wants, but I think it was because I chose my family in the end that I did a lot of this stuff. And I can say coming out of the other end, I'm really grateful I did. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it didn't feel great when I did it.
I just had a conversation with an alumni today who, of course, will remain nameless, but we were talking a lot about the idea of, wanting to make it in art, trying to establish yourself. They just graduated last year. And so,
Yeah.
it is a fight. It is a struggle to try to somehow make yourself be seen in that
Yeah.
environment. And then on top of that, adding into the equation, um, family and things that you just can't always see coming around the
Yeah.
bend.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the reality of being a person that is independent of being an artist, independent of being a maker of any sort. That like the equivalent of uh, the age group that I'm in, there are a lot of people that are dealing with, and it's similar to what you're talking about. Parents who are getting
Mm-hmm.
old and physical ailments and things of that sort that somehow not necessarily are the worst thing in the world to sort of deal with because you get to have time with your parents, but it also takes away from your ability to you know start that career or to maintain that career. And so like even in my case, there's going to be a point where I probably won't be able to make as much art, or I'll have more things to do. I mean, even just having a kid,
Yeah.
the capacity of free time to just do what I need to do as an artist is not the same as it was when I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not blaming anybody. If
Yeah.
they're listening upstairs, I'm not blaming anybody. Uh,
The kids, it's your fault.
yeah. But just that idea of like priority shift as you get older, and responsibilities change. And sometimes that means that your art takes a bit of a backseat at times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with caring for your mother, I'm not going to get into weeds
Mm-hmm.
in this, but do you think that it made you a stronger person?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you for asking that. And yeah, definitely.
I mean, you have to be strong. You have to get through things like that just because of, you just have to. There's no easy way around it. But like, do you think
Mhm.
as an artist, do you think it made you a better artist to go through that experience in some way?
Oh, I definitely think so. There's like a fondness, I think, in my work because of it. Like there was just a lot of quiet time. Like I think not just like moving back for her and taking care of her, but I think New York was just bad for me. Like I felt like I always had to be on,
Mm.
and I think the nice thing about being with your family and taking on a caretaker role is that it really does make you appreciate the time you do have to make art.
Yeah.
Um, in a way that I don't think that if you don't have a caretaking role of any sort, you might not understand. Um, and I don't know. I there were moments I think that just also not just as an artist, I think it enriched our relationship. Like I would draw her from time to time, just like because I knew, like dementia's terminal,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, and she has since passed. So I think when I look back at those drawings, I'm really glad I am an artist. Like I could depict her in a way that I think was also very justifying, not justifying, but I don't really like it when people like vlog their life sometimes because you don't really know what the other person might be thinking. And I knew if I had like shared photos of my experience with my mom, right, when she was not looking great, she would be upset. Like
Yeah.
I think, but when you draw it, they become art, and that's more of a depiction of how you're feeling in their presence, or just like what's like you're, I think it's a lot more gratifying to their existence sometimes than like a cold photograph might be.
It's like a once removed, or it's got like a filter because of your hand on it versus a photograph that is such a pure translation or like a heartless. Well, that makes it sound like photographers don't know what they're doing. I don't
No,
know.
shout out to the photographers. We like what you do.
But your hand, your physical hand being in that, make
Hmm.
of what to show, where to show it, how much to show it is
Hmm.
says a lot in that situation. Um,
Yeah.
I'm
Hmm.
glad that you had the opportunity. Well, this got into like we were talking about silly things at one point. And now we're talking like we're talking something that's like deep and meaningful.
Hmm.
But so back to butts and but just that idea of like the impact that can have on like you said, like the aspect of being grateful for the opportunities that you have, grateful for the chance to express yourself because some people don't have that opportunity. I think is great across the board.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
uh, my wife just said I watched Julie Valentine's video about her parents earlier today. It was very sweet. Uh,
Oh, thank you.
yeah. Oh, I'm just going back and seeing questions my wife asked here about horror. We don't need to get into horror movies, um, but with the one of the things I was asking about with my seniors the other day that I think is probably a good question to throw at you here, in some
Hmm.
is what does success look like to you?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I'm thinking less. I mean, maybe you're gonna already know this part of it, but less about like um, money and things of the sort. But like, what are the measures of success as an artist in your case?
Uh,
I mean, if it is
I
money, that's okay. I'm not going to judge in that sense.
I think there's like three things you really need to consider, right, when it comes to success. Because I think art functions in a way like three ways, especially if you're doing it for a living. The first one, again, is I do think money matters. I don't think you have to make a lot of it, but I think making enough that you can sustain it is
Yes.
really important. So, you're not, if you can't make six figures, that's okay. Who can in this economy? Um, but at least having enough where, okay, I can like eat
Yep.
because I really do think, yeah, you're agreeing. Like you get
Yep.
it.
I mean,
Yeah. So that,
my rule of thumb, just to give you a hint, is my rule of thumb is I want stability.
yeah,
I don't. That doesn't mean I have to make a ton of money. That doesn't mean that I can't have some fluctuation in my career or things that throw me for a loop periodically. But just that idea of like, I want to be able to know that I can provide for my family, and that in some capacity, shape, or form, that I'm not always looking at the calendar going, when am I going to get paid? Uh,
yeah, yeah.
and that's it. Like it's as simple as that for me.
Real.
Yeah.
So real, as the kids say, and I say.
I mean, sports car would be cool. No, I'm just kidding. I have no interest in sports cars. I'm just trying to think of like what would be the opposite of what I just said. That would be the worst in the world. Like I really want like a mansion and a beach house and no, it's do you watch Love Is Blind?
Oh my God, I just see the memes.
Okay, because there was one this last season where the guy was talking about having a I think it was like a beach house overseas and blah blah. Like he was bragging about what he expected in his life, and
Hmm.
I'm not going to do the same, but that was the joke. Um,
Yeah.
don't watch it. It's bad for you. It's unhealthy.
I love trash though. Trash sometimes is good. You need something to not think.
Yeah, and that you were right. That is trash. No, we watch it. I admittedly we watch it, and it is lovely trash that we partake in. So
Yeah.
we like
Hmm.
other people's misery. That's our. You like horror movies. We like horror truths.
No
Uh,
word truths.
going through stuff. Um,
Real.
well, but I asked you about the success. Are there other things that are like considered you know, the the icon or not the icon, but the idea of success?
Yeah. So finances, right? Like being comfortable or at least like again stability. I think that's crucial. So I kind of count that as physical. That's a physical success.
Okay.
Mental success, I think, is always not improving because again, I don't think art is kind of like this a line. I think if anything, it's more like at least for me, the way I see art is kind of like a circle that's always going like to a direction. Like, it's almost like a curl, right? Like you're still going up, but it's not like a linear thing. It's like you're always circling back and forth. Like, do I want to go back to this way of doing it? Do I want to evolve? Do I want to?
Yeah.
And I think just having that dialogue with yourself is a sign that you're growing or a sign of like you're changing. And I think art is meant to change and develop. I think that's great. So that's like the mental, physical. The last one, and granted, this might sound a little woo woo, but I think like the best, not the best, but I think the thing that completes it, right, to have success as an artist is also having a spiritual um sense with your work. And I think that can mean a lot of things for certain people. Like when I taught at Hollins and at UArts, part of what I was trying to teach my students was like, there's going to be times where you really don't like making work, right? Like you're going to be burned out. You just want to stop.
Yeah.
And I think that it's actually really important to understand that art making is a spiritual process as well. That I think when you try to just gung ho it like a job, and granted, like some people are gonna be listening to this and be like, this is outrageous. I just treat this as a job. That's fine. Like that's totally, again, like you can have many forms of success here, right? But I think the spiritual completes it because I think when you can come back to art and just keep doing it, even when you're not feeling it, that is like beautiful. Or you can come back to it when you really need it. I
Okay.
think that's yeah.
Well,
Um,
I mean, some of
mhm.
uh, the the argument that you're making, or the I shouldn't say argument because that makes it sound like you're fighting it, but the the argument that you're making here is
Mhm.
that is a very like mature sort of mindset for an artist. Like there are artists, I think when you first start out, there is probably a lot of, or at least when I was, going through it at that age, there was a lot of like success was and desire was built around finances, was around popularity.
Mhm.
And so like even getting into the kidlit world, when I was
Yeah.
in school, the idea at the time was like, I want to become famous as a kidlit person. And
Mhm.
I have all the best books and I want people to pay me lots of money and whatnot. And now looking back on it, with that maturity, it is the understanding that there is more to all of this than even just a like a the stylistic thing or the surface level, and it becomes more like you said, like the spiritual, or like I'm not a spiritual person. I'm not
Yeah.
out there like studying religion or anything of the sort. But there's part of me that understands that at a certain point in life, things become more important to you than um, popularity or success. And like you do it because it warms your heart, and that's good enough. And so,
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know about where you are career wise, or part of this is like, forgive me, this is coming from me, midlife crisis sort of thinking of what is the point of all of it? Why am I here? What am I doing? Kind of,
Mm-hmm.
and maturity, you start to ask those questions more often, and you start to ask like, what is my impact on
Mm-hmm.
everything? And so I think those are the idea of like it being rewarding beyond a financial thing is huge. Uh,
Yeah.
that was a
Mm-hmm.
long-winded statement, but
I got it.
really important. It was super important, and you can't judge me for it. Um,
Oh.
are there things, speaking on that sort of level? I've asked this before. Are there certain things that like outside of kidlit? Are there certain like artistic things or life things that are um, on that sort of bucket list of sorts that you want to accomplish at some point? Or
Mm.
in kidlit in particular, like beyond just like, hey, I want to work with this artist or author or things of the sort, like, I would love, I said to the other day, for success for me is I would love it at some point to have a little kid come up to me and not just say, hey, I read that book, but say, that was my favorite book. Not a little kid, an adult come up to me and say, that was my favorite book when I was little,
Yeah. Yeah.
and really mean it, and not be polite. Um, like that would be really rewarding and a great warm feeling. Are there things like that you're like, this is you know, the goal?
Mm. I definitely think, what you brought up of just being like, that was my childhood. I think that's a very beautiful statement. Um, that I think a lot of people want, because what it is it's you're creating a legacy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I think actually, ironically, one thing actually already happened, was not intentional, but I've I like going dark humor. So if this is a little too crude, you can let me know. But I'm kind of like the person in all of my friend groups where if someone's like parent dies, I'm like, welcome to the dead parent club.
No, I'm not offended. Uh,
Okay, that's good.
it's, I, I am the type of person where everything is fair game joke wise. Uh, and that probably doesn't affect me. One of the funniest things I don't know if I've ever said this on here. One of the funniest things that my parents have ever done, and you'll probably
Hmm.
appreciate this because if you like dark humor, um,
Hmm.
was my grandmother when she was relatively old. She has since passed. Obviously, it's been a while, but it was when she was old. She went out to her driveway and she slipped and fell on her face, and she had this bruise that was basically around her eyes and a little bit over the bridge of her nose. Uh,
Hmm.
and she sent a photo or something like that to my mom, and my mom made cards and sent it around to the family. And the cards said, "Someone's celebrating Mardi Gras early," because she had this giant bruise that looked like a Mardi Gras mask.
Oh my God.
And my family is that kind of like, they will make those kinds of jokes and whatnot. And to me, those like, the fact that my mother made that joke is the funniest thing. Uh,
Hmm.
my grandma actually laughed at it, and like that dark kind of twisted humor, I think is amazing, and I love when people are willing to go into that world and not feel like they have to like sugarcoat or that things have to be off limit. Um,
Hmm.
Fun of me, that's fine. I'm okay with it. Call me an idiot. I'm not going to be upset. Um,
Hmm.
Unless you're my wife and she's listening upstairs and she calls me an idiot, because then that stings.
That's
No,
hmm.
I'm an idiot to her too. Um, okay,
Hmm.
there's a subject for you. Ready?
Thank you.
This is a good one.
Ooh.
dumbest thing you've ever drawn?
Oh, how crude can we get on here?
You can get as crude as you want. I will mark it as not for children.
Are you sure? Will that ruin the viewership or whatever? Or
Okay,
are
how
we
about
okay?
if anybody is listening right now and you have and you're a snowflake, as they say in the media. No,
Oh my God.
if you are someone that is pure of heart and you don't want to hear this, tune out for the next what, like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Tune out for 30
Thank,
seconds. Come back.
thank you. I can draw very cute animals with huge dicks. Just huge, bulging dicks. Okay, that was it.
Yeah, yeah. And we're back. That was really sweet and innocent what you just said. I'm surprised that's everybody. Um, Interesting. Okay. Uh,
hmm Yeah, I can't really show you. I mean, I could draw right now, but I don't want to ruin your
is this
viewers.
is this what you paid that money for school for? Is come out?
Yeah.
There's a one of the people that I work with, this illustration professor, sort of my counterpart at the school, uh, did a whole series of flowers and flora and whatnot with every bit of genitalia you can think of showing up in
Yeah.
them. But and then the thing is, you're in a kidlit world. You can't necessarily put that out there on a regular
No.
world. Check this out, ding dong, um, or what have you. So, um, do you have speaking of that? This is like these are these questions I ask students periodically, but I'm going to ask you now.
hmm
Have things that thinking about the industry that we are in, I have rules about sort of like what I'm willing to post, uh,
Mm.
things of that sort. Obviously, you're not out there posting those the uh, the girth for what it's worth. Um,
hmm
is there? Or do you have rules of like, oh, I'm not willing to go and do this, or I'm not willing
Mm.
to draw this, or put this out to the public because of the industry that you are in?
Mm. Yeah. Oh, definitely. I think I tend to avoid, again, like the joke, like funny stuff, like what I just mentioned. Um,
Oh, that's
I
funny to you.
I
Sorry.
know. I think there's also just there's some work that you make that you're just not really proud of, but you had to do it to get money. I think like that stuff I tend to just also not post because I'm like, this is not really what I tend to do, but it's I can afford my meal for this month because of it. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
definitely one of those. Also tend try not to show too much of my life that isn't art related. I think I like to keep that private. That's not even like a kidlit thing. I think that's just I respect my privacy um, to an extent. Um, and I've, I've floated the idea of making a separate not channel, a separate thing for comics that I've been kind of just working on, but I have a Substack, so I think that kind of acts as like the I guess like a nice medium to let those comics out that
Yeah.
you know.
Wait, are the comics about what you just said?
No, no.
Yeah.
No, I was actually okay. This is I don't know. I can you mention OnlyFans on here?
Yeah.
As it, okay, it exists, but
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but they were trying to veer away from what they normally do, right? And I remember I got an email from them being like, "Hey, you draw such cute things. Do you want to be on our platform?" Because they were trying to get more like wholesome creators on there.
How'd that go for them? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
did, did you
I
did you take them up on their offer? Is there
no.
I've been feeling it's not a pay model that has proven to be effective for them long term. There's
No.
not enough buyers of that content on that site. Um, this is let's see, wait. I am Adrian Wright, says LOL Julie. I don't know if that's something you know.
Oh, hi,
Do
Adrian.
you know Adrian?
Yeah, she's an illustrator in Philly also, and children's book writer.
And does she know about the things you draw?
No, I haven't shown her. but-
Okay. Adrian, when you get a chance,
No.
your time, what you need to do is say, hey, I need you to draw me one of them cute characters with
Mhm.
stuff.
Oh my God, no, Adrian.
Hopefully that didn't throw you under the bus too much. Is there thinking about that idea of like posting and privacy, etc. Social media is a tricky subject for a lot of artists and trying to be wary of what you post, how you post it, etc. Have you had major concerns of sort of um, beyond privacy? Like one of the things
Mm,
we're talking about today in class was copyright infringement,
yeah.
things of that sort. Have you seen any of that in your career as is gone on?
I've seen it for other artists, definitely. I think it's pretty, again, this is why I don't like AI. I think it actually proliferates, laziness in image referencing specifically, and kind of taking the context away from images, to make it easier to infringe. It's like you don't even know that you're stealing from this creator
Yeah,
because the reference you're using is AI generated, right? Um, so I definitely think that I hate to say it, like when you're even like on Instagram, like you're signing a contract kind of with the devil, right? Because we've signed on to this platform, you are allowing certain things to be trained.
yeah,
Um, but I definitely think that it's still worth it. Like I get clients on from Instagram. It's unfortunate. I really wish it wasn't true. Um, Even Facebook, I was like shocked to see like people like to buy art from Facebook too. And that was more of a magic discovery.
do they wait
But
actually like to buy it, or is that just like request to buy it? Because I feel like there's a lot of like, I want to buy your artwork on sites like that are
mm,
scams, or you know what I mean, like I don't sell artwork generally through Instagram, uh
yeah,
or even when I got an offer from someone, I was extremely suspicious and
yeah.
some heavy research to figure it out. But uh, shoot, what was I gonna? There was a question I was gonna ask that was tangent from that, uh,
Hmm.
about posting and AI. Oh, I know what it was. Um, you went through school, like when you were in school, it was 15 to 2019.
Yeah. Hmm.
Anybody ever tell you about the photo library?
Yes, I loved using the photo library.
Do they still have it?
I don't know. I don't know if they do.
But wait, while you were there, they had the photo library. Like you'd go in and they'd have folders that had various pictures in it.
Yeah, I used it all the time.
I thought that would be antiquated even by like 2010 because of like Google image stuff.
No, I was in it. I was there. I was its not main supporter, but I went in a few times every semester.
Oh, awesome! That was something
Yeah.
for like, because we had the internet, but it was dial up at the time.
Mhm. Oh my God.
You were not going to get your image searches through Google. I said to the students today, Google was called Backrub at the time, probably when I was there. You know that, right?
No, I don't.
Google was originally going to be called Backrub.
What?
Uh-huh. I'm gonna go back.
Wow.
Hold on a second. I gotta, if you want to look that up, go back rub it.
My
Yeah,
God.
doesn't sound as good. Um, anyways, just how cool that was and how often I was there to like look up things. And obviously, there's like, it's not a perfect. Uh, you don't get everything under the sun when you do that, but I still think it's a cool system that was in place, and the content that you get forced you to have to be inventive with your image making, because you can't rely on just being able to see every single image of a tiger or a, whatever it was that you were trying to look up. Now
Hmm.
you taught at UArts, right? You said
Yeah. Hmm.
there when it shut down.
Yeah. Rest in peace, man. Like, ugh.
So was that? I mean, obviously that made a lot of news in the world of higher ed. That
Yeah.
down. Were you were adjunct at the time? I assume.
Yeah. Hmm.
Was it like, did you know, or was it a, because from what I remember it was just sort of shut down. There wasn't like um uh a big farewell or anything of the sort, that it just sort of happened.
They did not tell us anything. Like
And
it was completely, I felt so bad for my fellow coworkers who had like been there for years. It was
yeah,
horrible.
did they not tell the full timers even that you know of?
Nope. It's the kind of thing where I know there's gonna be lawsuits if there's not already lawsuits.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, that's like
Yeah.
scary when everybody there was that in a couple other schools, and yeah, at the school that I teach at, it was sort of like, yeah, we heard that like not people did not know what was going on or what happened 100%, and then all of a sudden it was just sort of, it was gone. um
Hmm.
Such a good school and such a like an establishment in that area for this and whatnot. I mean, the good thing is that Philly has such a good art scene in general,
Hmm.
and has like, even without that school, there's still a good cohort of artists that are there that probably have picked up the mantle of like art centers and education and things of the sort, but it's never going to be the same. Uh,
No, I hope so. I mean, there's more. There's Temple, but I think this is just it's not just a Philly thing. I think this is just unfortunately higher ed around the country is in trouble.
yeah,
Um,
I'm in the
and
thick.
yeah.
I know. I hear reports on stuff every day. Uh,
Yeah.
the school that I teach at, we've actually decided, like, we shrunk over the last couple of years because of enrollment, et cetera. That probably is why places like the U of Arts had went the way that it went. But the thing that we've been able to manage is we've basically decided we're not going to be a big school at all. Like, our max that we want to hit for students is about 250 students total.
Wow. Hmm.
It's a little bit more achievable.
Yeah.
And we big school ever, but that idea of like, we're starting to hone in on what our niche is uh, in the world of diminishing art colleges. Uh,
Yeah.
we'll see. Did
Hmm.
you enjoy teaching when you were there?
Yeah. I definitely think that it took a lot more out of me than I thought. I actually started off in the animation department because of recommendation from another fellow illustrator. Thank you, Jamila, if you're listening. And I was teaching actually, ironically, visual development, the thing I was trying to get into event before. But I think it was really helpful because I think a lot of people in the animation department, like, they're animating, but I think a lot of them really what the visual development portfolio ended up being was just like, hey, like you need some concept art for this
Yeah,
animation you're making, because that's the pipeline, right? Like a lot of times you're not even going to be animating. Sometimes you're just going to be illustrating. Um, so it went from that, and then I worked with Daniel Fish in illustration, and he brought me into the illustration department. So I taught portfolio, not portfolio. It was like promo and markets, I guess,
mm,
and that was kind of teaching kids about just like all the different avenues of illustration that you can go down. Like it isn't just like one thing, right?
yeah. You have choices and
Yeah.
specificity that you need to learn of sorts.
Hmm.
Did you know that you like? How did you stumble into? Well, I shouldn't say stumble because that makes it imply that like, oops, I just landed here. But how
Hmm.
did you become a teacher? Obviously, you got recommended, but was that something that you ever thought about doing prior?
Uh, not really. I think that was like my first really. jump into it. Like I think after UArts, I was like, I guess I can teach. I do like it. I think it's when we were talking about like fulfilling art things, like besides being like oddly enough the one like I think I mentioned before, right? Like not just like being the one who people go to for like, hey, my parents are dead. But like making art for that too. Like I
Yeah.
think that was really important, but also being there to kind of help the next generation of artists. I think that was really rewarding. You probably feel it too as a teacher, or at least trying to feel it.
Nope. Nope.
Oh,
No.
sorry.
No. Yeah. No. It is a like it's challenging, especially when you see people struggle to become the
Yeah,
art you want. But when you hit those successes, or you have those moments where someone really does succeed, um,
yeah.
it is quite lovely to have that sort of happen. And so, um, I get the vibe that you are. I smell no, I smell what you're stepping in, or I forget what the phrase is. Um, but yeah, no, it's a fun thing. It is one of those. Let me ask you a question here, because you have your undergraduate degree. You don't have a master's degree, uh,
Yeah.
I assume. Um,
Yep.
but with something like that, did you feel like um, when you first started teaching, did you feel like a poser? Because I know I did when I started. I didn't have my degree. And
hmm
after, I mean, even to this day, I still feel like a little bit of like someone's going to find out that I don't really know what I'm doing.
Oh, hell yeah. Mm. I felt it extremely at UArts. But I also think I will say I felt it a little bit less in the promo and markets class because I felt like my expert on just like working in the industry came in clutch there. Like I feel like that job specifically was not for teachers who are just on the academic track,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So I
you
was
have,
like, okay, I can give you this information. I kind of felt like I was doing kind of what Chris did for me. Like I was telling them like contract stuff, um, like how to negotiate for yourself, really.
that's the course that I teach right now. Is
Yeah.
our what we call business practices course.
hmm
We do contracts, we do resumes, we do websites, we do promotion stuff, we talk about marketing and networking and all that kind of stuff. And
hmm
when I was at RISD, I feel like we didn't get that at the time. Like I think partially just because of the era, it was not a required thing, or a thing that the accreditors were looking for in the same capacity that they do now. Um,
Yeah.
but still, it is a skill set that like you have to have, in my opinion, to teach some of that stuff. You have to have gone through it. And so,
Yeah.
the idea of like, yeah, if you're a true academic who just goes, well, I'm here because I got my degree and that's that, and I haven't really worked in the field. That is a scary thing in my mind. Um,
hmm
there are people in those situations that do that. Shall remain nameless. Uh,
hmm
not in my school, luckily, but I have seen it. Um, with with when did you stop? I mean, obviously you stopped teaching there when it shut down. I'm trying to remember what year it shut down.
I think 2024.
Yeah, it was like a couple of years ago, right? Yeah, so 20. What are we? 2026 right now. So
Yeah, I think yeah.
um, have you considered teaching elsewhere since, or are you
Uh,
teaching?
I was since 2024 I was teaching at actually a grad program at Hollins University for their children's book program.
With Mary Jane?
Yeah, with Mary Jane.
Now wait a second. I have to ask. This is and I'm not trying to be a snob here, but how are you teaching a master's program if you don't have a master's?
True. A lot of it was just they needed someone to teach the illustration part. I was not teaching any of the writing, like visual language
It,
and mhm.
it was was Mary Jane teaching? Well, you called her MJ.
Yeah.
Is that what she goes by?
Uh, I'm used to it, but if you are used to calling her Mary Jane, you can do that.
She was Mary Jane when I was at school, at least as far as I know. I mean, maybe she told us that we were supposed to call her MJ, um, but does she teach the visual part too, or is she teaching more like what's her capacity there then?
She was the head of the illustration department. Like it was divided into basically the writing and the illustration.
Okay, okay. So but did she was still teaching though? I assume in that capacity, or some teaching. I don't know. I feel like it would be a shame to like not have her as a teacher.
Oh no, she taught the portfolio class.
Oh, okay, okay, good.
Yeah.
Mary Jane was one of those teachers that I absolutely adored when I went through school.
Hmm.
Like I still remember some of the lessons. I still remember uh, the some of the. I don't know if they still have the class called Colorworks.
Yes, she taught it
Uh,
when I was there.
yeah, and like I love that class. And
Hmm.
for I was roommates. Do you know who Jarrett Krasaska is?
Yes. Oh my God.
So
What a star.
I was roommates with Jarrett, and I remember he took Colorworks before me, like the year before me, and then I took it. And I remember him telling me because I was doing weird stuff, and I remember you're gonna have to redo that assignment. Mary Jane's never gonna accept that. And
Oh
then
no.
I walked in and Mary there was nothing. There was nothing. She was just like, okay, cool. And I remember going back to Jarrett and being like, yeah, I don't have to redo it. We're good. And I think I totally didn't follow the rules, but I don't think it was about the rules, whatever the assignment was.
Hmm.
I feel like it was one of those ones. Like, did she show you her method with the like watercolor and matte medium and stuff?
So I actually unfortunately never got to take the course. I just
What?
had friends who were in it. I
Uh,
took the What's Your Story class.
oh, you guys had cool classes. We didn't have fun stuff. Our classes were dumb. Um,
Sorry.
no, but it's there was an assignment where she gave us like her method and we were supposed to try it out or I think something of the sort and I totally did it the wrong way, but it didn't really
Hmm.
and I still got a good grade, so I'm okay with it. Uh,
Nice.
what who sorry I'm going back to Risky for a second. Who were your faves? Who were the ones that like
Uh,
jumped out at you and you're like, this is the person I have to know for the rest of my life?
Definitely Kelly and MJ. I think they were both instrumental um, in just like, again, getting me towards um, children's books or just like my own, creating my own stuff, I think.
Yeah.
And again, MJ kind of recommended me for Holland, so very grateful for her. Um, then I really appreciated, I had again, I did the minor in English. So I had a few professors there I really admired, like Abhishek Ganguly, very smart, one of the smartest men I've ever met. Just the way he could read a book was, and read a text was amazing. And I think there's a guy named Thomas Duran. He's not there anymore, but I did an independent study with him, and I'm just proud of how that turned out. So I think those are like the four main ones I think about. And I still talk to MJ and Kelly, so I think that was useful in terms of just like getting connections. And actually, like when I was in school, my dad passed away, so Kelly was like really sweet about it. Like I feel like we bonded. But she's also she had older parents
Yeah,
growing up, so
I feel like I remember. She actually uh, so I went to school when she was there. She was a year ahead of me.
oh my
Uh,
god.
and we sort of we had similar friend groups, but when I started teaching at the school I'm teaching at now, she was a part timer there, and then she left us for that gross RISD. Uh, she cheated on us, um, but no, she is a lovely person. I need to have her on here at some point. I just
Yeah.
haven't asked, but at this point, um, if you talk to either of them, I don't know if to be honest, I don't know if Mary Jane would remember me at all. Nor do I think if she saw a picture of me, she definitely wouldn't remember me because I was a skinny little twig. Uh,
Oh,
but if you chat to him at any point, give him a big old hello from me. Um, I mean, I should probably, you know what? I should probably reach out to them myself. I don't need you to do my bidding for me.
yeah. I mean, they're very lovely. I think they'd be happy to, talk about work and stuff. Their lore is extensive. I would believe.
They, yeah, Kelly, like knowing all the books. Kelly's the one that I reference all the time, and I don't think has an agent still to this day. But I reference
Yeah.
like, yeah, you don't have to have an agent. You can
No.
otherwise, but Kelly's that person that I always reference of like, oh yeah, Kelly doesn't have someone as an agent, but she's been fine. She just figures it out on her own and makes it.
Hmm.
So, with the teaching in that program, the Hollins program, is that wait, where is that located?
It's in Roanoke, Virginia.
Wait, what?
It's not the fun Roanoke where those people went missing. It just has the same name. The one where the people went missing is North Carolina.
But the reason why I'm saying what is you're in Philly
Yeah.
and it was all the way down there.
Hmm.
You mean in that area, or did you travel to it?
I traveled the program's for 6 weeks. So from 2025 to from 2024 to 2025, I just went for 6 weeks to Roanoke.
Oh, okay. So it's not a like semester big old. It's a what's that called? A low res
Yeah.
program. Gotcha.
I mean, it's still a lot. It's definitely like not a simple um thing to do, but it's at least manageable. Like I don't have to move there.
Yeah. That's it. Just threw me for a second. I was like, that's a long ways away. I mean,
Yeah.
I know there were people that taught at RISD that were like traveled from New York every time,
Oh God, yeah.
and they would just take the train or whatever it was, and like it seems crazy to me now, but I know people that do that kind of commute periodically for teaching. Um, with thinking about big old plans for the future, um, one of with the students that I've been talking about, sort of like
Hmm.
where you go, what you do. With where you're located in Philly, obviously, like I said before, Philly has a big art scene, but in the area that you're in that King of Prussia area, is there a big artist community?
Yeah. A lot of people in King of Prussia are corporate. It's a lot of corporate people. But in the Northwest Philly, so if we expand it not just to King of Prussia, but to like Germantown, Manayunk, there's a decent amount. I don't know if you know Steve. Oh God, what's your last name, Steve? It's like Ture. Um, he just came out with a book like literally a few days ago, but he's really cool. He sets up these things for illustrator meetups, and every month there's a Philly illustrator meetup, so I go to those.
Do, do you know who was down there? Was it I just had on? Was it James Braithwaite? That
Who?
he, I think he's in Philly. There's a couple of folks I've had on that are like Philly folks. I think they're probably more so on like the south side of Philly, but I bet you it's the same circle of folks, and it's a matter of you know you meet up in the same sort of areas. I mean,
Yeah.
we have groups that I meet with or people that I talk to, and it's such a tight knit, lovely group of people that I feel like no matter where you are, you're going to know someone that knows someone that knows someone, and the group gets or the 6 degrees of separation gets smaller and smaller as you go
Hmm.
on. So how often do you crit with or get together with art folks then, whether it be in
Again,
Philly or elsewhere?
I want to say, like, I have my friends I talk to online oftentimes, like from RISD. I still like my best friend and I will like critique each other's work, sometimes every week, depending. or we just work together. Shout out Kat, hi, if you're here. But when it comes to the Philly things, it's normally like again like once a month. Um, but Steve, sometimes we get together like maybe like twice a month. So it depends on like the season, and people have kids, so it also depends on that. Um,
Is it a kidlit specific thing, or is it like, did you say that and I missed it, or was it
oh
sort of?
no, no, no. Me and Kat, it's more just like artist friends, but the one with Steve or like the meetups, I think it's mixed. Like some of us do science illustration, some of us, do kidlit, some of us do um a bunch of other stuff. I
Yeah.
think it's really cool. And then every holiday, I don't know if you've heard of Children's Book World in Haverford.
Yes, I believe so. Is that the fair that happens, or am I thinking of something else?
You might be thinking of something else, but they might be part of the fair that you're thinking of. But they're kind of like our books of wonder
Oh, okay, okay.
of like this area. So they'll host like a holiday party. So I've met that's like how I met Adrian. Hi Adrian, if you're still here. I think that's a really great place to find illustrators in the kidlit world.
That's is that your book store that you go to, or is there other stuff that's like closer to you that's your standard bearer for finding kidlit?
That's the closest one to me. Because Haverford's not too far from here. Um, but it's really nice. And again, David Wiesner's in the area, so sometimes like I'll get coffee with him, which is really cool. Um, I need to get coffee with him. I haven't seen him in a while. I think there's just if any of your students are curious about it, I definitely think there's an appeal to like I call them secondary cities. I consider Philly a secondary city where it's big enough to have a substantial art community, but it's not too big where like everyone's there and
Yes,
it's overwhelming, right?
secondary New York, you mean?
Yeah, like New York and LA are like first tier. Like you're gonna meet everyone and everything there, right?
Yeah,
For the different industries, especially like if you're in video games or animation, you should be in LA. Like you shouldn't
yeah.
be over here, right? And then the second tier cities are like,
Or yeah, or
yeah.
whatever the location may be. Um,
Mhm.
with yeah, I mean that's I would say that in that same ballpark, then like Boston's a little bit like that, where it's not a huge art hub. But
Yeah.
up to New York, and there's quite a few art schools up here that have sort of branched out and become, or that still have some longevity, that put out artists in a capacity in this day and age, quote
Yeah.
unquote. Um,
Quote unquote.
yeah, it's I mean it's who knows how long and in what shape and form it becomes, but there's still lots of artists here.
Yeah.
Probably Philly is more like uh, this is gonna sound weird, but I feel like Philly's more like a New York art scene because of
Yeah.
closeness, and Boston is a little bit more of a it has that, but it is maybe a little bit more subdued or tied to uh, the environment. So like the school that I teach at is right on the North Shore of Boston, and so
Oh,
um, a lot of the artwork that you find in galleries and things are not the like hard hitting concept artwork. Sometimes it's like very quaint images that show up.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
Tom Booth is on, and he just said that I went to Haverford. Children's Book World is my childhood bookstore. They're great.
Oh my God. Hi, Tom.
Yeah.
I love your work.
I was gonna say, do you know Tom? His work is probably one of those people where it's like everything is stunning, and
Hmm.
he lives up in Maine, about an hour away from me, maybe somewhere in that range.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
he is a lovely person. If you've never met him in person, he's lovely. So that's that. I'm trying to figure out how much I want to do on this piece versus
How's
over.
it going? Oh, yeah.
We're getting there. It's better than what this the color wise. The green was too much. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm liking the setup of this, but I'm not sure of how much. Originally, I was going to put flowers and things being cast, and maybe I should do that still, but
Yeah.
figure it out. Um, so outside of the Kidlit world and editorial world, have you ever jumped into the gallery world of any sort?
I've done a few shows, but again, it tends to be illustration galleries, so like Gallery Nucleus, Giant Robot in LA.
Yeah.
Um, and I kind of like it like that. I'm not saying again, credit to all of my fine artists out there. I think you can be a fine artist and not be stuck up, but like the I think one of the things I do remember having a chip on my shoulder about, especially at RISD, was that people hated the illustration department, especially the fine artists.
Why though? What do you think it was?
I think that they think that we were making work for the common people, and I think the most obnoxious of the fine artists hate that.
That
It
you
lessens their work.
Yeah, you sold out and you caved to the man. No, I yeah, there was that when I was there too, and I won't say what programs it was, but I will say that it rhymed with mint breaking. I always felt now maybe it's not true, but I always felt a little judged from that.
Hmm.
Now it's funny because in the school I teach in right now, I feel like that is not the judgy group. But
Yeah,
there's definitely uh, a stigma from certain groups or certain factions within schools that um, illustrators are uh, again like uh, trying to make money and it's not pure art and things like
yeah,
um, which is BS,
yeah,
especially when you're making cute characters with big dolls.
yeah. That's art.
Sold out. Sold out. Um, but no, it's a stigma that goes along, and I think in some sense it goes the other direction too, admittedly.
Yeah,
But that idea of like the gallery stuff I do, like I do the galleries that you're talking about. In
yeah.
fact, uh, I just got in the mail today. I think. Have you done the coaster show with?
I love the coaster show. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's got my set of coasters that I got to work on and figure out what I'm doing with that soon. Um,
Hmm.
but the I was going to say there is a nice little gallery that's near us that has work that is a little bit more illustrator friendly that I participate in. But um,
Nice.
is the uh, outside of those galleries? Do you go to galleries? Do you have places? I mean, obviously, like I said, the Philly has a nice art scene, but do you get out to those kind of locations? And,
Uh,
or is it?
hmm.
Go ahead.
I was, I think it depends. So, like, I've gone to the giant robot one before. That was really fun. Um, I can't make all the shows because, again, oftentimes it's in other places. But there's a really nice little gallery. Get the little galleries in Philadelphia. I try to make like a Fleischer and Da Vinci Gallery. They're like really small little things that my friend Maddie does a lot of work with. So I like to see that kind of work from time to time. There's also the Fabric Workshop in Philadelphia, which is really cool. They'll have like residencies, so you can see like different people making work on fabric. The Clay Studio. There's just tons. Like I'm really want to get across that I think Philly is an amazing art place. Please come.
Make it bigger and better. Yes. There was a really lovely gallery that at one point I think shifted and moved into New York for one point, but started out in Philly. That I'm a big fan of, called the Jonathan Levine Gallery.
Oh.
Now
Hmm.
it's in New Jersey. Uh,
Oh no.
like like Jordan Issip and Ray Caesar and I feel like Audrey Kawasaki was there at one point, and Souther Salazar, like some really like illustrator adjacent or um, connected to that world kind of work showing up in it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ever there, like I think it's right over the border in New Jersey somewhere. I could be wrong, but at one point I was in New York, but it started out in Philly.
Oh, cool.
The Philly artists and whatnot in it. I only know
Mm-hmm.
because of there's a RISD alum, a guy named John Viner.
Oh.
I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if work, but he was associated with that gallery for a while, and his work is like stunning,
Ooh.
beautiful. He did a poster. I remember when I think when I was in school, he just graduated, and he did a poster for the Society of Illustrators show. That was a beautiful poster of this like figure standing outside a big old Victorian house with two giant dogs. That was very, very popular at the time.
Mm.
Shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say now. I keep forgetting stuff. It's late at night. I'm losing my mind at this.
Yeah. No, that's real. I'm glad that I can hold on with the drawing ideas because I started running low. I was like, oh no, what do I draw?
Yeah, this is. I think I'm at like I got a couple little touches that I want to do on this, and then I'm gonna stop. I want to zoom out on my camera, but I don't know if I can. So I'm
Do
gonna
you
try.
want to take that risk?
I don't know if I want to take that risk right now. So I'm gonna do it without, and then I'll move my camera around so hopefully people can see it a little bit better. But I just need to make the
Mm.
dust and dirt being kicked up by this wheelchair a little bit more pronounced.
Yes.
With the subject, I'm gonna talk about a deep subject here for a second,
Yeah.
and bear with me. With
Mm-hmm.
the idea of what you went through with your mother
Mm-hmm.
about turning that into a book.
Oh, actually, yes. Um, but it would be a graphic novel.
Oh, okay, not for kiddos.
I mean, aspects of her have shown up in my work. Like I don't know if you saw in the book From Far Away, there's the alien mother has a wheelchair.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was based on her. Um, there's like little hints of her and my dad in all of my books, I think, unintentionally or maybe intentionally. And I think that's like, again, one reason I really find what we do kind of spiritual. Like I can keep them alive almost, like secret little pockets of little hints of them. Like I remember I did a illustration for the New York Times, and it was just like it was basically a an illustration article about Social Security running out.
Mm.
um, but they let me go conceptual, so I made like this whole group of old people kind of crowding around a fountain, and the fountain's getting a little bit smaller, right?
Yeah,
And it was like in that I drew a little depiction of my parents in there. It's like that having the alien mom kind of be like my mom, um, drawing like maybe an older guy in the background of like Tove. I think that's just really meaningful,
that's
and it keeps yeah. Sorry. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Not a pure translation, but a tribute to in those situations. The reason why I asked it, I was thinking about when you were telling that story uh,
Yeah.
of the struggle with that and whatnot. There's a book that we have here that talks about a picture book that is about I think it's a grandparent in that case
Mm-hmm.
through dementia or Alzheimer's of some sort, and it's sort of subtle. Uh,
Mm.
it's one of those ones. It's probably a more so than the kids. Like there's a book that
Yeah.
is about a miscarriage.
My
Um,
God.
and it's got this beautiful image in it. It's about like preparing for the baby to come home, etc. And then the parents come home, just them, and
Oh.
it deals with it and whatnot. But like really heartfelt, and maybe again, it's one of those ones where like you probably get the book to talk to a kid in that situation, but not necessarily. It's not for your everyday cup of tea. I'm going to walk into Barnes and Noble and buy a book sort of situation. um,
Yeah.
but it's one of those things where like I always question like when you have something like that is that's very heartfelt and challenging. at what point does it become something that kids can understand and relate
Yeah.
to? Um,
Yeah.
let me see. I'm gonna
I
do a
mean,
little.
I think. Oh.
Oh, go ahead.
Ooh. I think you're bringing up something though. Like I have considered it, maybe not again for direct comparison, right? But parents are getting older, so it is something I've thought about. Just like as a like this, what I was raised with, I thought was kind of abnormal. And granted, it still was. Like my parents were like six. That's right. My parents were 50 when they adopted me. So that's already they're kind of pulling a Abraham and Sarah with that age difference.
What does Abraham and Sarah mean?
Oh, like they were super old
I know,
when
but
they got,
is that a
Isaac.
is that a reference to like the Bible or something?
Sorry,
Or
reference to sorry, another Jewish reference.
Torah?
Reference, yeah, the Torah.
That's I had never heard that that phrase. So when you threw that out there, I'm like, I have no idea what that means. Um,
Yeah.
wait, how old were you when they adopted you?
I was around 7 months, 7 to 8 months.
Yeah, that is not. I'm not trying to say they're old and gross, but that is a
No,
age for a 7-month-old little one. Did you have
yep.
older siblings?
Nope. Just me.
Yeah, that's a bold move.
Yeah.
Uh, challenging, like having us. That means when you were like, 5,
Yeah.
around like crazy, they were 55,
Yep.
and probably having aches and pains at the end of the day from all of that. I mean, I'm almost 50 soon,
Hmm.
and I don't think I could keep up with a little one uh,
Nope.
capacity. That's more credit to him for it.
Yeah. But, it leads to other problems in the future. But,
Yeah,
the average parent's a lot older now. So not a lot older. Not I don't think they're pulling 50 like my parents did, but I definitely think like there's room for talking about like what do you do when you do have older parents because you do have different worries than if your parents like a spry young chicken.
is there with growing up out of curiosity, and this is again, we're not talking art anymore in this case, but growing up, did you have like did your parents have relationships with your friends' parents?
Mm. Uh yes, I think honestly though they kind of behaved almost like there were parents that my parents actually did just like chill with and like hang out with, but I remember a few of my friends' parents, they kind of acted like parents to them because some of them were quite young. Mm.
That's like when our son, when he was really little, I forget where it was that he made this friend. It may have been like kindergarten or something like that, maybe first grade. And we invited their parent over to, a play date. And
Yeah.
that person was like maybe 22.
Oh my God.
They had a kid when they were a teenager, and we were 40.
Oh my God.
It was a little strange. I mean, obviously, it's not like they were a bad person or anything, but it was like there was definitely a age discrepancy there that became sort of apparent when they walked in the door. Of, oh,
Mhm.
you're the age of what could be our kid, and you have a kid now. I'm at the age now where like my students, I'm older than their parents.
Yeah.
That is very, very strange. Those conversations and realize that, oh, you know they're young at this point.
Mhm.
Do No, I'm gonna ask a question. I'm probably not allowed to ask this question. Do you think you'll ever have kids?
Oh, my partner and I have talked about it. We're kind of more on again, I kind of like teaching for this. Like I like kind of being a mentor figure.
Yeah,
I've thought about like I remember hearing something where again it might be totally different now, but I was really interested in the idea of like there are kind of things you can sign up with like foster programs where you don't really foster a kid, but you kind of provide them like a place to go after school.
Yeah, it's like big brother, big sister kind of.
Yeah, like I've definitely thought about that idea because I mean, I when I was a kid, I was like, oh, I'm gonna definitely adopt just like my parents did. But I think adoption's a lot more complicated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
At one point, before we had our son, we looked into adopting, and I didn't realize how much effort has to be put in,
Yeah.
especially if it's adopting from overseas.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like China doesn't even allow it anymore, and that's where I was adopted from. So,
I remember we looked at one point, like Guatemala was a place that was doing adoptions, and you had to go live there for a month
yeah.
before they would even consider that you could adopt, and you had to do, like, there was some like classes you had to take. It was a, you must know our culture before we're going to let you adopt one of the children from the country, which makes total sense.
Yeah.
Sort of floored us at that time. And I don't mean to pry and be like, hey, are you gonna have kids? But it's just because we're in this industry where like kids are a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
With kids, it's sort of this like, it's hard to be inundated with little kids, or at least your perception. I had this sort of starting out of, I didn't know how to interact with kids,
Yeah.
and then being in this environment, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I get it now. And
Mm-hmm.
I give kids was less threatening, or less challenging at that point than potentially what it was prior. Um,
Yeah.
um, I think, getting to a point where I don't have. I've sort of finished the piece. I was just going to do a little test of something real quick, just color wise,
Yeah.
but I think I'm getting
Mm-hmm.
where like I'm wrapping up for the night. Um,
Yeah.
I'm I don't want to keep pushing it. If you are at a point where stopping makes sense, I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to force you to continue if I'm just like going putzing with a little bit. Um,
No, you're good. I've gone through like a bunch of different like little things here and there. So,
yeah, I've seen a lot of sketches on there, a lot of work, more work than I would ever even assume that I could get out in that time frame. Um, can you show real quick just the stuff that you made? Because I
yes,
I'm
sir.
watching it in passing, but
Here. So, made a little sketchbook page of my cat Mo in little outfits, and then some fanciful crows. And then I just did those. I was trying to do some harpies, but ended up I couldn't really close up on the harpy part as much as I wanted to. But I got the vibe, the vibe of the harpies. And then I was working on this like little like a girl illustration wearing gooses doing different things. Maybe I'll finish that later. When I have more energy. Um, and then yeah, I finished it up over here with some little mice and more mows.
oh,
Yeah.
Moe's. See, you're calling Moe's, not Moon Pie.
No.
There is a secret name that's there that you're just not ever going to admit to me, and I get it. It's fine. You don't have. I get it. It's some like it's well, based on what you drew that one time, it may be some nasty term that
No.
I don't want to hear it. All right. Well, let me do this. Let me. I'm going to switch the camera back down to my face.
Hmm.
There we go. Hey, there we are. And I will send you off into the ether.
Hmm.
Beautiful work, both of you. So, um, but I
Woohoo.
send you off in a lovely manner. Um, I have been, like I said, a big fan of yours for a while. Watched books come out and have done some deep dive into that. I need to spend some more time going back and finding out if you have any high school Julie artwork out there of any sort
Oh
somewhere
my god.
on the internet. If I dig in Instagram back far enough, will I find any of it?
I mean, I just made a post on my Substack about uh like 100-day, not sorry, a 365-day drawing challenge. So you'll find that
Wait, from like back when?
from 2015.
Okay.
So
Okay. Was it Pokemon? Was
it
it?
was it
Are
was a
they?
mix of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
this has been lovely to chat, getting to know each other, etc. and I am super appreciative of you taking the time with us tonight to uh, listen to me and answer my dumb questions and really letting us watch and see you work in action. So this has been.
Hmm. Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been lovely talking to you. I'm sorry for cutting you off a bunch of times.
You didn't know. It's I. Yeah, I mean, I noticed it, but no, no. It was. I think it's a delay. It's I. There was plenty of times I cut you off, and plenty of times I need to be cut off. There's so many,
Oh my God.
uh, and my wife will try later to shut me up, but I don't know if it'll work. But anyways, this has been lovely, and I really do appreciate you taking the time. And if you're ever up in the area, or if you go to any of the conferences at some point and we run into each other, I say this to everybody. I don't know if you drink of any sort. I always say, like, I got to buy you a beer. I don't drink beer, but I always say that. But I will buy you a soup. And yeah, I won't have any. I'll have some that's the antithesis of soup. But you can have your soup on me. That's put it that way.
Mhm. Thank you. Wait, are you in Boston, you said, or?
I'm in New Hampshire, but I am
Um,
30 minutes north of Boston.
okay, well, actually on the 31st next week, I'll have an event at a cafe in Boston. So I'll be there.
What event? What is
Uh, I shared the event on my page. It's like Beacon Hill Books. It's really cute.
Okay.
It's like a little cafe book thing, but I'll be there talking about doing a Mungo reading. There's stickers.
All right. You said it was next weekend?
It's the 31st, so technically it's in the middle of the week, unfortunately. But um,
Day of the week is it? Remind me.
let's see.
Uh-oh. Are you there?
So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's a Tuesday. Sorry, I was looking at my looking at what date it is.
Oh, you said it was a Thursday though?
No, Tuesday.
Tuesday. I teach on Tuesdays. Uh,
Sorry.
okay. Well, I will promote it to friends and try to get friends out there and whatnot.
Thank
But
you.
store, I know the one. Very cute little place. And yeah, if I somehow cancel my class, they like that. But that'll be lovely, and I will recommend any of my students who are free that day to go down and visit it as well. But otherwise, go have a lovely evening and get some rest and get those books out there. Is there anything you want to plug real quick besides the show? Like, is there a book coming out soon that we need to know about?
Oh, it's gonna come out next year, but there's a book that I illustrated, which is more important every day. It's called Louisian Light's Legacy. I don't even think it's technically like it's exists. The Goodreads account has been made for it, so I can announce it. But it's about a suffragist
Oh,
who, yeah,
yeah, that's a good cause and more important every day, like you said.
every day. So I think I might actually head up to New Hampshire for that when
Oh,
it
really?
publishes because her daughter, she wasn't really famous for her suffragist work. Um, she donated a bunch of art to the Met. She was an art curator, but she used basically all of her art curator money to fund and like march for suffrage. But her daughter has a museum, I think, in Vermont.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
go head it up this way at some point, if that tour's coming around, let me know, and I'd be happy to make it out there. So
Mhm.
uh, I have to make it to one of the events at least. If I don't make it to this one coming up, I got to make it to the one in New Hampshire. Um,
Mhm.
good. I'm excited. That sounds lovely. And if I'm ever down that way, I'll yell into the void and say, first of all, where is the King of Prussia surrounding? And then
Mhm.
tell me where Julie is, and then I'll come bang on your door and say,
Yeah.
show me this lovely town that you live in. Anyway, it's been fun, and I will be in touch.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, real quick, everybody, just to let you know, next week we are going to have on a repeat guest. We're going to have on Lori Keller. Not childhood, I wasn't a little kid, a hero of mine growing up in art school and whatnot, and is famous for Arnie the Donut and Potato Pants and on and on and on, the Scrambled States of America, etc. And so she's going to be on next week. This will be a repeat offender, someone coming on twice. Oh, man. So join us for that. Otherwise, y'all have a lovely week. I will see you next week on Thursday at 8 p.m. Bye.